Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. You made it. It's hump day. We're halfway through the week. Lots to get to. 4 games last night of action. Whole bunch of games tonight, including the game that's going to show why Doc Rivers is a better coach than Nick Nurse. That is right. The Philadelphia 76ers do battle with those Toronto Raptors. We, the North. I'm telling you what. I love the Raptors fan base. They're awesome. They're hilarious. And they're going to come up here and give me a piece of their mind. As I say again, once again, Doc Rivers, better coach than Nick Nurse. Klay Thompson struggled last night. You know who didn't struggle last night? Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy didn't struggle last night, single-handedly beating the Mavs with a short-handed Pell squad. Shout out Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado. Shout out Luka. Phenomenal game. Christian Wood, phenomenal game. But you know what? What we said earlier in the beginning of the season, it bore out true. The Mavs have no backup point guard. That's a huge problem. You saw it yesterday. Speaking of huge problems, the Warriors are 2-2. The Suns, whom everybody said was going to fall apart, they're 3-1. And I tell you what, if you look at the numbers, the Suns haven't changed. I don't think they're going anywhere. Got a lot to get to. Also, just dropping the latest episode of Combo's Court. If you don't know, Andrew, a.k.a. Combo, phenomenal international career playing ball, based out of New York, connected. He's had like Jay Billis up there and a whole rack of others, so make sure you check out Combo's Court. We had a great talk of the Sixers and Lakers, a couple other things across the ball. It's about a half hour long. Throw it in your rotation. Shout out to Mavs, man. Like 77 Spaces was up last night until it crashed. We love it. That's what we're here for. Be back in 10. Good morning. All right, good morning. If you want a mic, go ahead and request it. A little bit different today. I didn't put the regular show card in there today. Today, I put up here the latest episode of Hoop Spaces Review. It's the free newsletter that you didn't know you need. It gives you all the recaps, so if you don't watch all the games, you're able to keep up with the league. It gives you links to news and notes from the league, from sources that we trust here, so you don't have to try to peruse around and get hit with those clickbait articles. And it's free. And it's really the next step that we need to grow Hoop Spaces. We also brought in a YouTube coordinator. I want to go ahead and give a round of applause to Justin Patton, ladies and gentlemen, JP, the franchise, coming aboard the Hoop Spaces team officially as the YouTube coordinator so that we have a point of contact for these dope content creators like Jose, Jazz, and Rolo, who may or may not want to do their own YouTube videos. We have somebody who's in the grind, doing it day in, day out, and that's Justin. He's going to help us promote and push some of these great creators that just simply aren't getting like a lot of burn, because we all know how the system is. It's for those people up top, not us down here below. And we're trying to change that one person at a time. So I ask you today to like and retweet and subscribe to this free newsletter. Like, I've already put C. Hendo up here. He is banging out different player interviews. He's got another exclusive dropping today. We've got a guy named John Jabolka who came aboard last year for Heat Spaces. He got picked up by a regional sports network, but he's going to be up in the newsletter breaking down the games in a very advanced stats way that I know a lot of you crave. And if you are a creator down there and you already have your brand, but you might want some more eyes, hey, reach out. We are here to do exactly what you're doing, but we're here to do it together. All right. With that, though, shout out to everybody who comes in every day and makes any part of Hoop Spaces a part of your day. We're appreciative. Last night, though, I want to give a huge shout out to Nets Twitter, and specifically, ladies and gentlemen, Mackenzie Falls, going up on stage and just telling the truth, spitting nothing but facts out of her Nets fandom. So shout out Mackenzie, ladies and gentlemen. And if you haven't seen any of these other team rooms, look, spend some time. You ain't working every day. Like, there's a different team room almost every night. I can hit you up with some Grizz. We got Mavs, Nets, Hawks. Like, experience the beauty of the league, because I tell you what, that right there is what's going to carry us through the dark days of the beginning of the season. What do I mean by that? After Halloween, the NBA kind of goes dark, right? Like playoffs and the NFL discussion heats up. So there's some attention distracted there. But then we're dealing every day with winter coming. And like we might just be skipping out a little bit. And that's just another reason why you should sign up for the Hoops Faces Review newsletter. So when you do skip out, you can still come in and never miss a beat. Brought to you today by our sponsor, Slam Goods, slamgoods.com, part of the Slam Online Network. Go over to slamgoods.com. You can use promo code HoopSpaces to save 15% off your entire purchase. And they just dropped a new series of T-shirts for some of the covers. The Asia Wilson shirt sold out, y'all. Like, you already missed out on that. But you can head over to Slam Goods right now and pick up the collectible cover for $10. It's $9.99. If you use Hoop Spaces as the promo code, you save $1.50. But while you're there, pick up a copy of the Pickup Card Game. It's made by a wonderful company who just combined their passion for basketball with their passion of family and put together a great collectible trading card game called the Pickup Card Game. Go pick up your copy of Pickup. Use promo code HoopSpaces, save 15%. Man, yeah, you could tell I'm excited. Like I'm having a great day. Why, you ask? And it's real simple. Today, the 76ers play the Toronto Raptors, and today is a day that Doc Rivers gets to prove again that he is a better coach than Nick Nurse. Already up on stage, fellow Sixers fan, Sosa the Locksmith. If you are into gambling and gambling Twitter, make sure you shoot him a follow. Young Heavy up here from Sports After Dark, Ashley Baker's crew, and Micah, diehard Mavs fan. You know who's not up here? Y'all. So if you want to come up, now is the time. Raise those hands and get up now so you can say good morning, or forever hold your peace as we go ahead and get into the games from last night. And also, do Combo a favor. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you mind coming up and talking hoops with me?" And I said, "Absolutely, I got you." Scheduling stuff in life. He's a great follow. He's gonna give you 30-minute pods with a whole bunch of like star names from podcasts you like, from shows you like, and it's just basketball talk. So make sure you like and retweet and check it out. All right, we're going to say good morning first. We've got Allen, Young Heavy, Bonkai, and Sosa up here. We will go to my man Sosa. We met on Clubhouse. He is here also on Twitter, and he is probably wondering why I am causing this stir within this Toronto Raptors fan base, as I have definitively said that Doc Rivers is a better coach than Nick Nurse. Sosa, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you? How are you, actually? Let's start there. How are you?
I'm great, man. It's a beautiful day. It's raining.
Sure?
The leaves are falling. Like, I got a crap load of yard work I'm going to have to do. It's a great day.
For you to lead with the Doc Rivers, listen, Doc Rivers beat him in the playoffs. I don't think I've had the Nick Nurse discussion. I think Nick Nurse is a great coach. I think he's a great developer of talent. I think a lot of people obviously say he won the championship with Kawhi. Hasn't really done much since, right? So, I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not here to dog Nick Nurse. I mean, I think I would like for us to win the game. I went to the game against Indiana. Obviously, I have season tickets, so I go to all the games that are good at least. We got off the schneid a little bit. Finally got a W on the board. I completely 100% unequivocally disagree with you that he's a better basketball coach than Nick Nurse. Unequivocally, he's not better at motivating people. He's not better at defensive strategies. I mean, if you've been watching our offense through 4 games, it's looked pretty awful. But again, I kind of give him a pass because it's a lot of new pieces, a lot of moving pieces, right? Like, basically all the ancillary players are brand new. So that's going to take time. Matisse Thybulle's getting no burn. So he's looking like just a casualty of, he's just looking like a casualty of Doc Rivers. That's what he's looking like right now. And also, like, maybe that's an indictment on him not putting the work in, right? Because we're not asking Matisse Thybulle to go out there and get us 20. We're just asking him to hit wide open jump shots. And, I mean, if he's not doing it in practice, I'm pretty sure he's not doing it in games, which is why he's not getting playing time.
So, I'm with you on that. Although I will say I don't think that's the Doc Rivers thing. I think that's Doc Rivers telling Morey that the boy you signed, Daniel House, isn't as good as Matisse Thybulle. Like, I think he's putting him out there on purpose.
I'm a huge Matisse guy. We drafted him. My boy owns a bar where there's a fucking sorry, I'm in a cuss. There's a mural of him on the bar. I don't know if you've seen it, but Garage on Frankfurt and Gerard, there's a huge mural of Matisse Thybulle on the front wall.
I'm gonna be there the next time I'm in Philly, which should be
Yeah,
around Christmas.
yep. So right on Frankfurt and Gerard, across the street from Joe's Cheesesteaks, or from Joe's. But yeah, bro, listen, I'm as far as the Sixers go, I have no real dissemination of what they will be until I see them play about 15 to 20 games. Um, it's obviously a lot of ISO heavy stuff because James Harden is your lead guard. A lot of dribbling, a lot of standing still. The thing is that in past years that's been effective, right? It's been effective for him winning a bunch of games in the regular season. So I can't be, I can't immediately just, start, just on a negative trend and say, oh, it's not going to work or it's not working because obviously you have to give it time. So other than that, I don't agree that Doc Rivers is a better coach, but I do believe that Joel Embiid plays better against teams whose centers are all under 7 foot. And
Right? Well, unless you're Grant Williams. If you're Grant Williams, you can lock Joel up.
yeah,
Apparently,
you're right. Right. You gotta be like 6'8" and completely swagless, no wristbands, no no nothing to get at him. So again, for me, no real anything, no real judgment made. I think that we are so thirsty for the microwave reactions and the hyperbolic speech when a team loses, especially a team that has high expectations. But just remember, the Clippers are 2-2, the Nuggets are 2-2, and so are the Warriors. And one of those teams probably going to come out the West. So you know what I mean? Like
yeah. This whole Phoenix was gonna like fall off the face of the earth. I never got it, bro.
I mean, that's people who don't know ball, bro. They have a coach, a system, and they won 60 plus games last year with a point guard that's never ever been bad in the regular season. It's if you listen to casuals talk, it's one thing, right? If you know ball, you know that they weren't just going to fall off a map. They set a franchise record last year in wins. Like they're not going to win 64 games, but they're not going to be like a 6 seed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. I had them pegged with the second or third best record in the league behind the Warriors. Like I had the Warriors at 57 wins. I had the Suns like at 55.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, regular season is one thing, right? Because, and it's also like this is my last point. Like once you're a talented team that figures out how to navigate a regular season, it gets progressively easier year to year. Like for example, I give you a perfect example. Boston was absolutely terrible last year up until Christmas. Once things clicked for them, they understood. It's like they reapplied themselves to the grind differently, and they understood what it took to navigate those last 40 games to get to the playoffs. And you've seen it actually roll over to this season. Obviously, the second half against Chicago was not a good measuring stick, but you kind of see it like the preparedness and the understanding of the day to day is much different once you've done it in the regular season. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's once you learn winning habits and you continue to apply them, it's going to continue. And I think that's what you see with teams like Phoenix. They have a culture. It's built. Now, does that equate to success in the postseason? We don't know. But in the regular season, over 82 games, they'll be a good basketball team. There's no question.
all right, let me go ahead and get into the scores last night. We'll get into the rest of the good mornings with Bonkai, Young Heavy, Allen, Micah, EK's coming up here. Shout outs to Sean with the W. Last night held a great combo space with the locker room and NBA film spaces, breaking down the game of RJ Barrett. And for all of you RJ Barrett naysayers out there, the joke's going to be on you. He got paid, and the bro's still going to be averaging 25-5 or 25-4. And if you want to hate on that, like you just gonna look stupid. The games last night, the Pistons, everybody's preseason favorite for League Pass watch, have really yet to put together a League Pass worthy game. I've watched every game. You see moments of brilliance with Jaden Ivey. You see Jalen Duren eat rebounds, and occasionally you see Cade Cunningham be aggressive. But they got washed by the Washington Wizards, 120-99. If nobody caught that, I don't blame you because nobody trusts Kristaps Porzingis being healthy. But if he's healthy, This is a very different Washington lineup with Bradley Beal being the aggressive combo guard. You have Kristaps Porzingis dragging the five out to like 35 feet out, and it's really opening up the offense for Kyle Kuzma. Like, I think they're literally one player away, replacing Monty Morris, of being a real legit dark horse contender of taking one of these Eastern Conference play-in or even low playoff seeds if they stay healthy. The Mavs lose to Trey Murphy and the baby Pels. 113, 111. Trey Murphy the third. Perfect from the floor. 8 for 8. 4 for 4 from deep. 2 for 2 from the line. And I'm saying this now. Herb Jones is not needed as a starter. Put Trey Murphy out there as your starting two guard. It should be CJ, Trey Murphy, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Jonas Valanciunas. You do that, and I am here. I am almost ready to say Pels to the Western Conference Finals if they stay healthy. That was insane last night. Clippers, they sit PG and Kawhi, and guess what? They lose. Who would have thought? Thunder 108-94, and there's a whole rack of people who are now starting to get real upset because SGA sits out one game, comes back, and then drops a perfect game following that. And like people are wondering, when is Adam Silver going to get up here and stop this from happening and say, hey, you guys are peering to try to manipulate the injury report and not have these players play, thus not being competitive, aka soft tanking. And we already seen Silver has addressed this now 5 times already within the first 10 days of the season. There's an issue. It's out in the open. And then the Suns mollywop the Warriors 134, 105. Like, I put this newsletter together. I try to stay up to get most of it done. I wake up early, maybe to edit and finish it. I turned this game off. I knew this was done, and you could tell by like the body language that Phoenix really got into it with Golden State, and they really took this game seriously, and the Warriors really didn't. And like that was the difference. Although shout out to Jordan Poole, good game, good bounce back game. We asked the question and earlier this week, and I said it last week. I think Jordan Poole needs to start. Now, whether you put Clay at the 3 and then bring Andrew Wiggins off the bench, or you bring Clay off the bench, I don't think it matters. Jordan Poole needs to start. That's just my opinion. I think he provides a dynamic facet to the offense that Clay can no longer contribute, and that's secondary ball creation.
Chris, he can't guard you though.
Well, I mean, that's sad because I ain't moving fast or jumping, and if he can't guard me,
he can't guard a shadow.
Yeah. Well, look, Clay ain't guarding that well like he used to. He's getting by on a little bit of reputation here. If you've seen Clay's isolation defensive numbers so far in this early part of the season, they ain't pretty either. And every time that Clay is off, and then they put Steph and JP together, it just seemingly happens that both Andrew Wiggins and James Wiseman play better. Just throwing that out there as well. All right, there you go. Scores from last night. We'll get into it. We've got Domo, Sosa, Bonkai, Young, Heavy, Allen, EK, and Micah up on stage. If you want a mic, go ahead and request it. If you can't come up, cool. There's a chat box in the bottom right, and we know you have a busy life and you working. Hop in there, say good morning. I'll be hopping in there a little bit early. Shout out to Jackie, already killing it this morning. Nelly J is also in the building. Make sure you shoot Nelly J a follow and look out for Raptors Live. It's a dope post-game space. Look, she's here to tell me I'm wrong. If you're a Raptor fan, you can come up here and tell me I'm wrong. If you just don't like Doc Rivers, which is what this is, you can come up and tell me I'm wrong, and all of it will be a lie. All right, we'll go first and say good morning to Bonkai. Bonkai, 60 seconds. Say good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody on stage and below. I need a 7-game series. I know it's a long time away, but I need a 7-game playoff series between the Suns and the Warriors. That game was entertaining as hell. yesterday up until it got to blowout stages. But to see Clay and Devin Booker go at it, you kind of had Cam Johnson trying to instigate Draymond as well with a little push and trash talk. So I need a 7 game series of that. I don't care if Nat doesn't like it because she hates the Suns, but I want to see it.
Yeah, no, I want to see it too. I like it, and almost every Warriors fan probably doesn't want to see it because I think they all hate the Suns by now. We'll go to EK. EK, 60 seconds. Say good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning to everybody on stage. First off, my brother, we got to talk about your music takes. There's no way on God's green earth that Stevie Wonder is better than Michael Jackson. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Well, that's awesome
We can talk
because
about that.
Earth ain't green. Earth is blue. Thank you for making that distinction. Because on the blue Earth, which is what's reflected, Stevie Wonder is indeed better than Michael Jackson. But continue.
Lord Jesus. Okay. All right. So I want to give some love to Kyle Kuzma. I'm a Maryland native. I'm from Maryland. Been in Maryland all my life. And Kyle Kuzma, man, I'm really impressed with what he's been able to do. He's averaging 21, 6.82 assists through their first couple of games, man. And he was amazing again last night. 25.6 rebounds, 1 assist. And like you said, I feel like with Chris that's being able to space the floor, it gives Kyle Kuzma more room to operate, which I really, really like. So I'm really, really high on him. And also, man, with the Golden State and Phoenix game last night, the first half was good, not the entire game. The second half was a whole bunch of histrionics and trash talking and soft ejections and everything like that. The first half was entertaining. So I was just like you, Chris. After the first half and after the ejection, I turned it off because I was like, I don't want to see this crap anymore. But yeah, by the way, Stevie Wonder is not better than Michael Jackson. Will never be better than Michael Jackson, and that's all I got to say. Good morning, everybody.
All right, look, we started a kerfluffle because people are trying to say technically there's land and grass under the sea. Like I could get nerdy, and if Danny D was here, her eyes would be rolling right now. So I'm not going to explain exactly what it is I'm meaning where you're completely wrong. It's okay.
Oh, and Glenn Rivers is a fortunate coach, not a good coach. Continue.
That was a bar. That was absolutely a bar.
That was a bar of lead that sank into Lake Mead.
That was a
Fortunate, he
bar.
should have said Powerball lucky, but fortunate works too.
Oh, see, all of you on this anti-Doc Rivers train it's just sad. Like, what sad little breakfasts y'all must have had? Like, did you not
Pancakes.
get? Yeah, exactly.
Blueberry ones, to be exact.
So, like, not only did you get loose floppy bread, you got loose floppy bread with blue moose droppings. Like, all right, I got you, son.
You eat Mexican food. Bro, you eat Mexican food from a gas station. You have no right to tell me.
One, it's a taquito, and taquito.
You one of them?
Taquitos aren't Mexican food, and it's only the jalapeno cheese ones.
That's disgusting.
Unfortunately, I found out today 7-Eleven and Speedway reached out and said, we have discontinued that item. And my son is distraught. Like, that was his favorite taquito.
Mexican food. And I say that as one of probably.
If you eat taquitos in the morning, you are a peculiar person. That's all I'm gonna say.
Look, I just had an Indian dish that's usually had for lunch, bro. Like, I do savory for breakfast all the time.
Your son is gonna be doing backflips.
let me get Alan in here and Young Heavy. Alan, good morning.
Good morning. What's up, guys? Chris, I appreciate you for letting me come into this space and speak. I do gotta mention, as a resident Mexican, taquitos is not a Mexican food. I don't know where you guys got that from. Your local corner, 7-Eleven, Stripes, wherever you're at here in Texas, it is Stripes where they sell them, and that is not Mexican food. Just need to throw it out there. I am Mexican. It is called flautas.
Flautas, yes.
What it's really called. So let's get that out there. Chris, I actually wanted to ask you a question and kind of not even about basketball. I wanted to know more about your chef experiences and kind of just tell me a little backstory. That's kind of what I just want to know more about that.
All right, and real quick, when I was retired unceremoniously from the military after my deployments, I went home. It took some it took some time to adjust. It's a different life. And then, I needed something to do. And I had actually promised my grandmother growing up that I would go to culinary school because she said that I needed to learn how to cook because the only way that she thought as a man to ensure that you get a wife worthy of you is that you know how to cook so that you don't depend on the woman to cook, right? And then that way the woman can actually be equal to you. Like she was big on equity. Like when I talk about equity, like a lot of this was driven from my grandmother who grew up in a time where even white women were not equitable. So she really went hard at it. And like we would spend time cooking. Anyway, I get out the military and I go to culinary school, graduate the first 2 years, go to another one, graduate with the 4 year, and then I hook up with another vet. He was a Navy vet. His name's James Attackin. He was a Food Network chef. That's not the TV chef, right? They have a whole slew of test kitchens across the country, and he was one of those guys. And then he started dabbling in competitive cooking and TV cooking. I ended up becoming his sous chef and expediter. Then he ended up getting a big gig from Hyatt in Australia and Hawaii. I don't do islands, so I didn't go. And then here I am. There, 30 seconds.
I don't care if it's Mexican food, American food, Chinese food. Don't buy food from no gas station. Don't judge my food taste.
Unless
that is that north. That's that northeast elite bias.
Because
Rollful at the gas stations in New Orleans now. So
let's not go at gas station food in totality.
As someone who's lived everywhere, that is purely a northeastern 95 corridor until you hit the Carolinas take, because gas stations in the South is where food was banging for years. They took the food from the gas stations, put it in the grocery stores, and like that. Like, come on, Sean.
See, this is where your anti-Northeast bias came through in full colors, because I never said don't eat any food from a gas station. If you from the Northeast, you know chicken from Royal Farms is banging.
Well, it's better than KFC.
I said don't get no Mexican food or whatever you want to call it, because I was funny. I was just doing some research. I'm like, okay, it's not Mexican, but it's founded by 2 Mexican restaurants in Southern California. But it's not Mexican, whatever. Don't eat that from a gas station. That's my point.
we can get into the semantic argument on what it is, but just because they were Mexican and took flautas,
whatever it is, don't eat that from a gas station.
It's you know what, we need to move on. We need to move on. We've got hands up and we got people trying to say good morning. Young Heavy, what's up?
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody that's up here speaking. My dog Sosa, I see you over there. Yeah. After seeing what I seen last night from the Warriors and the Suns, you are right, Chris. It's time to start Jordan Poole, man. It's very much time. Clay is not the same player he was 4 years ago. It's not that player no more, man. Like, Devin Booker had him in jail them times that Devin Booker was guarding. Like Jordan Poole, he just does better for the team. Like, Jordan Poole was doing some stuff out there last night. Like, this boy Jordan Poole is in a groove, man. I feel like I agree with Chris. I feel like their offense will be much more harder to defend with him and Curry on the court at the same time versus Curry and Clay. That's all I want to say real quick.
All right, look at that. Starting a movement. We're going to go to Domo. We've got a new person. We'll get after him. That's Caleb. We asked Caleb that you shoot a follow to everybody up on the stage. And then Mike is down here as well. We'll get to him.
That's my boy, bro. He's a big DC sports fan.
Yo, you from the DMV too?
Yeah, I'm from the DMV, but so don't say that, because I'm not a Wizards fan. I don't know.
Oh no, you good?
You support the trashiest organization in DC? I should have said
that. Oh wow! You don't tell me you support the Washington Daniel Snyders, man.
I've been a fan since 05, Chris. I'm too much invested.
My brother, I'm local to the DMV too, my brother. Don't loose yourself from those chains, please.
Here we go,
loose yourself,
ladies and gentlemen.
Who's playing music?
We gonna interrupt the show and we gonna bring Caleb up here first. Man's down bad. He's been a fan of the Washington Daniel Snyder since '05. It's okay though. We here for you. One day you are gonna get an owner that's gonna make you proud. Like you ain't gotta worry about that owner running that team down like he did Johnny Rockets. You ain't gotta worry about that owner making an amusement park not fun. It's all good, Caleb. We here for you, bro. Domo, good morning. How you doing?
First and foremost, blessings to Greg Popovich, Becky. Also, Brett Brown is back. I don't know how I missed that news, or maybe I thought it and I forgot it. Um, that's a sneaky candidate for a Pop replacement whenever it's time to go. I feel like he got a really tough a tough dick in Philly. The 76ers were just a badly built roster. Moving on. Um, I just want to go back to two things. Number one, Chris, you have the worst music take ever. Like just downright disrespectful. And finding out that you're a chef and hearing your horrible food take just really makes me extremely uncomfortable. The last thing I want to say, can we stop all of this this Mexican food purism around here? It's the road taco. It's the Fanta. What? Listen, man. Like we brought it across the border. We sold it to the white folks. We called it a taquito. A whole bunch of people made money off it. You know what I also hate? I hate when people say queso isn't real Mexican food. It's Mexican food. We've been making money off of it for decades. There's an entire economy in San Antonio and most of Texas around selling white people melted cheese. I get it. It's not fully authentic. Technically, neither are flour tortillas. Like, if you want real Mexican food and you got to eat corn tortillas, you know what? I don't want to always eat corn tortillas. I don't. And this is from someone that's from San Antonio that grew up with my hands and uh with my arms elbow deep in lard making masa so we can make tamales. I'm extremely authentic. I know everything that comes to that. Can we just stop with all of the purism around here, guys? It is Mexican food. Is it fully authentic? Could you take it? Could you take it south of the border and not be laughed at? Probably not. But people have been making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, selling it to the Caucasians north of the border for long enough. That is still technically Mexican food, guys. We gotta be better than that, man.
Just saying, man. My son is distraught. Like that's all I was trying to say. The jalapeno cream cheese taquitos are discontinued.
Good Lord, Chris.
Okay,
that was my look.
That's disrespectful to every.
He'd be all right.
Of all races.
Yeah, he'll be exactly. He'll be all right.
Y'all gotta stop talking about jalapeno
that
chips,
right there,
man.
Right. Let Domo finish his good morning up. I still have Caleb up here as well, who needs to say good morning. Then we're gonna get into it. You just heard the voice of Nat, host of Benchwarmers. Had some technical difficulties yesterday. Neither one of us and some other people couldn't open rooms. We could join them, and then I find out that I could open it like at around 10 something, and I was like, it's done. But we're here, so we'll be doing it tonight at 9. We'll get into that. Up next, though, we'll let Domo finish up, and then we'll say what's up to Caleb for our last good morning. Then Combo is up here, and then we're going to go ahead and let Combo preview the podcast that just dropped. And if you don't know, shoot Combo, follow legit hooper, international career. It's hard because we've become a segmented society. If you are on the East Coast, you've probably actually heard him, right, and know of him from the amount of people he's interviewed. But if you are in the Midwest or if you're in the South, he might not reach your destination via your SEO. And he's a phenomenal basketball mind. So make sure you shoot him a follow. Domo, what else you got before I head down to Caleb?
The best team in professional sports plays basketball tonight, so you all are welcome. And then lastly, the best food I've ever had in my life was a fish spot about 45 miles north of New Orleans, and it was definitely a gas station.
Shout out to the city of New Orleans, Louisiana. I appreciate that, my brother.
In New York, Son. I just want to say, y'all wild for putting ketchup on breakfast sandwiches.
Yo,
Don't
That's
ketchup
today.
encourage
shouldn't be
this.
allowed, period.
Don't encourage this mess.
No
No,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
nasty
ketchup.
work, Sean.
What's
I
wrong
was
with
just
ketchup
Sans
on breakfast
ketchup.
sandwich? What's
in
wrong with that?
Brooklyn. I went and got me a bacon, egg, and cheese, and they asked me if I wanted ketchup and mayonnaise on it, and I
You
said
see, you see,
absolutely.
you,
Yo,
you see what
stop.
happened. You see what
Two,
happened. This is your fault, Sean.
Salt,
two,
pepper, ketchup is like a
two,
staple. What's wrong with
yeah,
you?
two
Yo,
things I
That's
want to
a
say,
All right,
fact.
guys.
so
Knowing what they
Sosa's
talking about.
nasty.
You see, you see,
Domo's
you see
nasty.
what happened. I did not do this.
Yeah, you did do this
I
because
did not do
here's
this.
what you did. Here's what you did. You told us, you exaggerated and said that, oh, you don't like gas station food. If you were listening to what I was saying, I was not saying I don't like gas station food. I said I don't like Mexican or Mexican adjacent
You don't like
food from a gas
Mexicans.
station.
What?
No,
See, no,
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 no.
no,
You don't
no,
like.
no. See, what I'm alluding to is people are saying stop with the food take. I didn't have the original food take. Like I didn't do this today.
What I said was it's hard for me to accept these shitty food takes from someone who eats Mexican adjacent food from a gas
Yeah,
station.
okay. See,
That's
and
what
that's
I said.
but see,
Oh
But
Sean,
my
that
you
you
have
doesn't
God.
wrong.
never
mean
been to
that there is not
Louisiana, my
good
Y'all
brother.
food.
eat
Gas
See,
mayonnaise
stations
you
and
see,
are
you
where
see,
that
you
cheese.
see
meat
what
is.
Crazy.
happened. It
Crazy.
was
Y'all talking about
Sean,
food.
and you guys are still talking about gas. Like I'm moving on, and you are still over here talking about
Number
gas
one,
station food.
number
I dare y'all to
two,
talk about basketball right now.
number two, and we'll move on after this. Number two, I find it interesting
Oh my
when
God.
people reject. You want to talk about biases? It is you guys are so quick to reject any accoutrement and customs from native from the Northeast food like ketchup on breakfast sandwiches. However, you guys tell me that cement next to like mixed with shrimp and butter is a delicacy,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
I'm
okay.
not on that grit train either. If you do the corn cement thing, that's on you.
Ketchup is gross.
It is. It is. So are grits.
did he
Like,
just call grits cement?
Yes,
yeah,
he
like
did,
it's corn
Sosa.
I've
cement. You
never
ain't
heard that
know?
Yes, he
before, but
did.
I feel where he's coming from.
No,
Thank
Sosa.
you.
Sosa, I like
Grits
you,
are
man. Don't
trash.
do this. Don't do this,
All right.
Sosa.
Back to
Grits are
basketball.
trash. What is we doing this morning?
Come, give
Back
me a.
back back to basketball.
Thank you.
Like back to basketball. We got Caleb. We already did his intro. He's an unfortunate fan of the Washington
All right,
Daniel
chill out, chill out,
Snyders.
chill out, chill out, chill out, chill out.
Caleb, good morning.
Good
How you
morning. How y'all
doing?
doing? How y'all doing? Hope everybody's blessed and well. Uh, I don't know about this gas station food stuff. I just want to say that I grew up in the DMV, so there was a lot of 7-Elevens, but I'm not eating shit from a gas station, bro. I'm sorry.
Caleb, if you've ever been to the city of New Orleans, Louisiana, I guarantee you will
See,
be
see,
eating
Yeah,
food from
see.
a
it's
gas
different.
station.
We
Okay, all
are.
right.
Dog, the
You might
gas
go to
stations
Texas.
there be having gourmet.
See, like I'm just here trying to say good morning and talk basketball, and y'all still see combo. Like it's a very
Jesus.
difficult job, man. It's so hard. All right, Caleb,
How
Yeah,
say
yeah,
about
good
the
but I
morning.
did have
Pelicans?
one basketball question though.
Oh,
There you
thank
go.
God.
As far as since last year, I'm becoming a big Luca fan. I think he's great. I think 1 year he's going to win MVP. I think he can win it. There's a lot of improvement. Oh, there's a lot of things that I see that he needs to improve in. So I guess from last night, what did y'all see that he should have done better, or that he didn't do, or like?
See that's a great question. We are going to get to that right after combo, who's just probably aghast all of a sudden, wondering what happened because we had this beautiful lead up to this wonderful podcast he does. He's over 400 episodes deep into basketball conversations, and here we are talking about ketchup and gas station food.
Oh yeah,
Combo,
and by
I
the
am.
way, ketchup is overrated. So
Thank
just say
you.
that ketchup is overrated. But
It
but but
is.
but do not ever disrespect grits.
We're
Oh,
not
good God
disrespecting grits.
Almighty!
All right,
Y'all
Oh
let
my
that
so
shit
goodness!
co-
go. Let it
the
go.
the Combos Court, the podcast y'all need to listen to, especially if you only have 30 minutes. You can find it everywhere your podcast pod, Apple, Spotify. You can also find him on Patreon. He's got a good setup where you can hook up and help support an independent creator for as little as $3 a month. Combo, I had a blast. It's just good to be able to just sit down and do nothing but talk ball, and that's literally what we did. Good morning. How are you? And as someone who's from the Northeast, do you ascribe to this ketchup on breakfast sandwiches fiasco that's going on here? Good morning.
Chris, I doubt you want to talk basketball with that ketchup talk.
I was actually going to touch on that. Did everybody hear me?
Yeah, we got you. You could be a little bit louder, but we hear you.
Good. I was actually going to touch on that. I just had some eggs and avocado, and on the eggs, I put some ketchup on it, man. Gotta be Nah, man, it's good. Catch up goes with everything. But when it comes to basketball, it was actually great having you on the show. We talked Sixers, we talked Lakers, we talked about the teams that are actually supposed to be bad. They're pretty good. I think that's an interesting topic that we can touch on maybe today or another day. But it was definitely great having you on the show. Thanks for joining in, and I'm glad to be here supporting you, man. This is a great thing you got going on. Like, I've obviously had a lot of former NBA All-Stars, current podcasters, ESPN and Fox sports personalities, but never somebody whose focus was Twitter Spaces. So I think it's phenomenal what you're doing, and I'm just glad to be here and support.
All right, appreciate it. Last night we had 4 games. We're now going to get into the games. Any game that you want to actually start off with, we'll go with you, Combo, and then we will definitely hit up Optimistic Pels fan as we're going to give the victors the spoils, and he's going to talk his ish because the Pels, without their 2 best players, just beat Luka. So what game you want to hit up first, Combo?
Yeah, let's start with that. I thought it was incredible how they came out. Like, Trey Murphy didn't miss a shot. CJ wasn't even himself, and they still won. But I thought it was incredible to beat a team without their 2 best players like that. And Luka went off. So I think also Christian Wood is an underrated piece for the Mavs. And he's like, people talk about him like he can't be an all-star level player. Like, I still think of him like that. He's one of those guys that can still sneak into an all-star game. I don't know if you guys think that he should be the 6th man or start, but I believe he should be a starter on that team.
Oh, we're definitely going to get into that. Micah can talk after Optimistic Pels because there's a lot of Mavs fans who are ready to see Christian Wood start. I don't want to see him start. I think the role that Jason Kidd has carved out for him coming off the bench playing 28 to 30 minutes is perfect. And mostly due because it doesn't allow him to be the very handsy bad defender that he can be. But we'll get to that after Optimistic Pels fan comes up here and beats his chest a little bit. 3-1, the New Orleans Pelicans, 113-111 on a Trey Murphy dagger. CJ was not really good, but he was good when it counted in the 4th. Herb Jones was out. But I want to also shout out another player, and it's not Jose Alvarado because that's what a lot of people were going to assume. It's not Najee Marshall. It's Larry Nance Jr. Like, Larry Nance Jr. makes this bench what it is, and this bench is scary dangerous. Like, if you look at what he does all of the hard work coming off the bench. He's going to end up giving you somewhere between 20 and 27 minutes. He's going to fight the biggest dude. He doesn't necessarily get the rebounds, but he keeps the biggest dude from getting the rebounds. He switches out on the wings. Absolutely phenomenal. Optimistic Pels fan, congratulations. Only the Trailblazers are ahead of the Pels. What you got for us today?
Hey, good morning, Hoop Spaces family. It is a beautiful, beautiful sunny morning here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Look, guys, Chris, I gotta say I appreciate the show card, but let me do a quick zag for you real quick. My team, my city, all my life has always thrived as the underdog. While I appreciate it, please keep the hate coming my way. Tell me that my team needs to go to Seattle. I want to keep hearing it, guys. Okay? Seriously, it was literally less than 11 months ago we were talking about moving my team. So keep the same energy while I talk about my squad real quick. Obviously, if you know me, you know I got to start by shouting out Jose Alvarado. He is the captain of the All Vibes 2022 team. He is so electric to watch. Like, he doesn't even have to be hitting shots. And I stick by this. I think Jose Alvarado is the second best playmaking point guard on the team. CJ has definitely stepped up his playmaking, racking up about 7 assists before the end of the first quarter. Honestly, it was electric to watch. One name I do want to put out in the stratosphere real quick is Dyson Daniels. I consider last night his debut, since he really only got about 2-3 minutes in the Brooklyn game for garbage time. He was everything I could have wanted in a rookie. Honestly, I would not be surprised if he made second team all rookie, even with him not getting too many minutes, because the kid is a defensive stopper. Okay, without Herb Jones, I know Luka did go off, but I attribute last night's victory to Dyson Daniels. He did an excellent job switching on the perimeter. He's 6'8", 6'9", lengthy guard who can actually drive to the paint and finish, play makes, and he's a defensive first guard. So just someone that we Pels fans think that Willie Green is going to start playing more in November, December. One shout out real quick. We do have some Pels royalty in the house. Shout out to the Pels and Whistles podcast. Miss Rel down there, you guys definitely got to tap in with her and Daniel Salerson. They're making some incredible Pelicans content for you guys to check out. And also, look, guys, like I said, I really, really appreciate the love my team is starting to get. The bench mob, we call them the second line. They're honestly incredibly fun to watch. Throughout my whole entire fandom as a Pelicans fan, our starters would be up by 5 and the bench would completely ruin it, and that's been my whole entire life. And now I feel like Pels fans are actually excited to watch their bench. Though Luka did go off, I do respect this Mavs team. Luka had an off night from 3. I mean I've been watching him in his whole entire career. He makes probably 50 to 60% of those shots that he missed last night. So though it was technically a victory, I still think we did play a little sloppy. But man, do I love this team to death, and I do appreciate all the love that people are starting to give my team. So thank you so much, Chris, for this opportunity to speak in front of your audience, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if you don't know, make sure you tap into Lance. He does a great space involving music and live performances. He'll be bringing that back as soon as he has some more time as the season gets through. And let's be honest, like the Pels won, it was great, 113, 111. But 2 players could have made one shot, and we're talking a different game. That is
Exactly.
Luka Doncic and Reggie Bullock. Up next, Micah, a diehard Mavs fan. He pops in here almost every day when he can. He also hits up 77 Spaces, the best damn Mavs content on Twitter, hosted by Jose. Paradox Killer 23 is the handle. Rolo, speak on it, Rolo. And Jazz, a.k.a. the Scammer Sultan, had a dope show last night. Micah, it was a gut-wrenching game. In that second quarter, you came back, but then coming out in the third, those adjustments just didn't click in, and the Pels were just able to sneak it out behind Trey Murphy and CJ McCollum. What are your thoughts after you see the Mavs get so close but not able to come over to the mountaintop?
Oh man, thoughts. Disappointed. Our 3 and D guys are turning into no 3 and just a little bit of D. And as disappointed as I am about the loss, I'm taking this take confirmation. I said a while back, the Pels are scary. They got defenders. They got scorers. They got great coaching. Man, them guys are here and they're coming. I really hope the Lakers can get that Westbrook trade off, because the thought of facing that team 4 times a year with Victor is scary. So hopefully they figure something out. And I'll go ahead and answer a question real quick. Somebody is saying about what they thought Luka did wrong, and well, Nat's going to appreciate this, because sometimes they have the same problem with their superstar. Settling. Stop it. Everybody doesn't got to try to be Steph Curry. Come on, stop it. There's other ways to score, please. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right.
Chris, can I ask Mike a question?
Sure. Go ahead.
Mike, when Luka went for that 3, do you think he should have went for the 2? Like, do you think he should have went for the tie instead of going for the win?
Well, it just depends. If you felt like there was a lane to the basket to go for the tie, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. You always try to stay in the game.
Micah, I completely agree with him. Luka was getting whatever he wanted in the paint all night. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, watching Luca run the pick and roll is one of my simple pleasures in life because, in my opinion, he's one of the best in the league to do it. And he was terrorizing the defense all last night. For some reason, Willie did not want to double him, so it was literally just Najee Marshall in hell, literally the whole entire time. Luca was backing up to the basket, but I think Luca could have got what he wanted in the paint if he decided to do it.
Are we talking about Luca airballing threes?
3 times, Miss Nat, absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to
3
check
times.
in. Thanks.
Micah, go ahead, come back, finish up, and then Jose's hopped up here. We'll get his thoughts on the Mavs loss to the Pels, and we'll go around the room. Anybody wants to add in, that'll be your time. And I want to say thank you for everybody coming in. Fast approaching the second hour of Hoop Spaces. Spending any time here, we're appreciative. Got a ton of creators here for you to follow. Once they start talking, I'll let you know. And remember, if you're sitting here and you haven't done so yet, if you look up at the top, the very first tweet, we just asked that you like and retweet the very first tweet. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, like, I mean, I don't know, you're here every day. It makes zero sense that you haven't signed up for it if you're here every day. Like, explain to me why you haven't if you're here every day. And if you can give me a good explanation, like maybe I'll buy you one of those taquitos. All right, Micah, real quick, finish up, and then Jose after you.
Chris, real quick. I think Sosa had his hand up. What turn does he get to go if he's still there?
He'll go after Jose.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Not only that, I really wish we'd stop thumbing our nose at talent. We had DSJ begging to come back. Instead, we went with a midget. So there you go.
I love how you say don't thumb your nose at talent, and then say we could have had DSJ, and then now we got a midget. Like that is Schadenfreude. I am smiling. Jose, your thoughts on the Mavs game? Mike, I'm gonna send you down to bring Sage up here. Breeze and you'll be up next after Sage. Go ahead, Jose, and then Sosa pick up after Jose.
Good morning, everybody. So, last night's game was just indicative of our 3-and-D guys not playing defense, not being able to shoot threes. When you have two starters who combine for 1 of 8, and that's their primary role, it's like, what's the point of them playing 36, 35 minutes? Last night. Josh Green could have came in and played a little bit of spot minutes. I know he's not the best offensively, but hell, Reggie Bullock is not giving you shit. Dorian Finney-Smith is not giving you much on the offensive side of the ball. And when you needed defensive stops, you put in Maxey out there, and Maxey gives some grace because he actually got an offensive rebound and hit a three in clutch time. But you just needed some more guys to be able to create their own shot. And maybe you needed a Tim Hardaway last night, even though I want to ship his ass off to Kansas or wherever the hell we could send him off to. THJ probably would have been able to help alleviate some of the uh, disastrous plays that we had last night. And we just needed somebody else to contribute. I mean, that third ball handler is yet again another topic of discussion just because you needed a guy to set up other people. Dinwiddie is not a guy that you can rely on to set up everybody and then also be able to carry the load offensively. Uh, there was a couple of times where Christian Wood was open in the paint and had a smaller defender on him, just like he did in Memphis. Tyus Jones was getting back down, and Dinwiddie still was reluctant to give him the ball down low in the post. Christian Wood played 29 minutes and had 23 points, and it's just like he should be in. The defensive lineup that kid is rolling out there with not Wood, Maxine, Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, I believe, Josh Green, and Luca is not really working. JaVale McGee also in his 12 minutes couldn't really attribute to anything. He couldn't stop anything. Uh, Dyson Daniels, Jose Alvarado, CJ McCollum all had their way in the paint. They just took turns and they tapped them on the ass and said, "Get out of here." That's just not acceptable. We need to play better defense here in Dallas. And I don't know what else to say. I mean, Luca could have done smarter. Just could have had smarter decisions. 2 of 13 from the 3-point line. It's just you could have drove and tied up the game. Hey, I want to win games. I don't just want to win it in a spectacular fashion, which Luca is very like big on because he's a competitor. He loves to be fiery. He loves the little highlights, and I just need him to be a little bit better on the decision making. Also, Jason Kidd needs to show some offensive creativity when throwing out them last minute calls on the offensive side of the ball. You have too many people standing around not doing nothing, and you're waiting for Luca to hit the step back and just hit the three, and that's not acceptable. Uh, Something that I always get fixated on when I'm watching the Warriors or teams with multiple people who could move the ball and just have a motion offense. That's something that needs to transition into Dallas because Luka is having too much of a high usage. Where in the first half he'll have 56 field goal percentage, and then in the third and fourth he'll start to dip off into the 30, and that's just wearing him down.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's going to be the problem the Mavs are going to have to fight all season long, and until they get that third ball handler off the bench, I don't see it changing. Sosa, hop in here. Sorry, I missed your hand. We got you up. Next after you, we'll get EK. Then I'm going to bring up Sage. We have Breeze, James, and you down below. Shout out to John, the Cortland Christian, and Mavs and Magic draft. Three dope people that come in here to listen to some ball when they can, and we're also appreciative. Make sure you shoot them a follow. Sosa, what's up? What are your thoughts here on this Luka? Essentially, people are saying a bad shot. It's very reminiscent to the shot Jimmy took in the playoffs. I've got no problem with it. That's just me, though. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Can y'all hear me?
There we go.
All
Uh-huh.
right, yeah, because my headphones are fucking up. Now what I was saying was I'm cool with him shooting that shot. He's your best player. I don't care. You live and die on that shot. At the end of the day, it's a regular season game in October. It's not no one will even remember this game 2 months from today. Secondly, I really do have to give the Pelicans front office the assembly of a roster made for today's game. They got everything. They got prototypical bigs. They got post bigs. They got stretch bigs. They got wings that can defend. They got wings that can shoot the three. They got wings that can shot make and create their own shot. And then also in the fourth quarter, CJ McCollum closed the game. That's that's why you traded for him. He didn't play good the entire game. In the fourth quarter, made a huge three, had 3 assists, and he ran the show, and he got him in the correct situations to finish the game. But yeah, it was an interesting game. Obviously, the Pelicans were missing their 2 best players and their best defender. So yeah, I think that if if all things were square on both sides, I think that Luka and them probably would have got dog walked. But they still lost to the B team.
That's actually the sad I think the saddest part that we take away from it is these wins are going to actually start they're going to matter more early on with the way that the West I think has gotten better. If anybody disagrees, you can be more than welcome to say why, but you need every win you can get. I don't have any team getting 60, and the more I watch, I'm thinking the West has now actually came down to the East in terms of high win total. But I also think that the bottom is going to push up and they're going to squeeze each other down, and you're going to need everyone. Shako, what's up? Got to get up here. Sage is here. We'll go to Sage next and Shako to talk some Mavs. Then we'll close out this game and move on to the next one as we are here in the second hour on Hoop Spaces. Thank you. Good morning. Sage, it's good to see you.
Hey, yeah, it's been a while since I've been on here. Are you able to hear me?
Yep, got you.
Okay, good, because I didn't see it moving. I just wanted to say, I'm trying to still understand what's going on with Kid. Like, I'm tired of starting slow like we did last season and then all of a sudden become like the comeback kids. Like, I just wish we could just be consistent during this whole season. I mean, I know we're gonna have losses, of course. Also relying on Luca is like too much. It's like, yeah, we know he's a star, but it's like I'm tired of just always, oh, Luca, Luca, Luca. And then Christian Wood, I just think that he needs to be in there in the right times, but it's always he's like in there, and then when we need him, Kid has him out. So I just have a lot of questions of what is going on in that mind of Jason Kidd right now. But that's really all I got to say. And congratulations to the Pelicans because they deserved it.
Can
Honestly,
I
I'm
can
sorry,
I can I
but
ask you a
yeah,
question? Can I ask you a
me,
question?
yeah,
From a Mavs fan perspective, do you think Luca needs to be better off ball, or is he fine the way he is? Because I see sometimes off ball he just stands there. Um, so I'm not exactly sure.
Caleb, who else is gonna play make? Who else is gonna play make for Luca? That's the
I mean,
question, right?
yeah, it's I don't watch the Mavs like that. I don't really have a specific team. I just like players. I know they got Tim Hardaway, who's another ball handler. I'm not saying he's a playmaker, but I know he's another ball handler that can make something
He
shake.
ain't play last night, dog.
He didn't play. Okay, all right.
It's all
yeah.
good.
I don't know.
I'm
I
just
just
asking.
think the whole team relies on Luca too much, and they just stand there and just wait to see what he's gonna do. And I'm just kind of sick of that. It's been the last couple of years that's been happening. So
Oh,
Sage,
I
let
know
me
they
ask you this. Let me
they
ask you
got
this. Would
Spencer
you say this
Dinwiddie.
is the last year you would want to see kind of heliocentric basketball with Luca? Because I kind of agree with you. You know what I'm saying? If Luca did a lot more off-ball movement with another primary playmaker, I feel like the Mavs would be a lot more dangerous because that type of
yeah,
offense can get stagnant in the fourth quarter.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm just kind of speechless right now. I didn't even watch the game. I just saw like a lot, but I know what was going on. It was like it was like a repeat. Like, yeah, we got our win with the Grizzlies. That was cool, but it's like, okay, here we go again, back to how it was. So, yeah.
Let's get Shaco in here. It's good to see you, my man. Thanks for popping up. What do you think after seeing a game that I'm pretty sure, like me, you had firmly in the win column just off the fact that they didn't have the best two players?
Oh my God, Chris, so firmly, like it really messed up my parlay sheet. That's how upset I was about it. I was more so it was like one of those trap games, but then this thing is reoccurring in terms of Mavs teams where they're ill prepared for like teams that are missing players, and it's ridiculous. Um, I put the loss on coach. Of course, I would because of the rotation distribution and the minutes distribution. It's just weird. I think the Luca rotation that he does, where he plays all of the first 6 minutes of the second, all of the third, 6 minutes of the fourth. Like at some point, you have to like mix it up a little bit because this isn't the same team. Also, let's talk about JaVale McGee. I was kind of 50-50 about the signing in terms of like him being an upgrade over Dwight Powell, and I can firmly say that he has not been. It's like he lags when it comes to paint protection, rebounding, even contesting like simple jump shots. He falls on the floor, takes forever to get up. I don't know if it's father time. I don't know if it's just idiocy. I'm not sure, but yeah, DFS Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock provided us with nothing, and I say nothing. It's not even defense, to be honest. They didn't even play good defense. They were getting lost on like coverages. It was crazy to look at, man. That is just ridiculous. I would say that when the Mavs get down to crunch time and it's time to make plays, we also just go really ISO heavy with Luca. They don't even run plays. Like I'm pretty sure Kid's clipboard is just drawings of like two stick men playing like sword fight. Like I don't get it. It's just weird. We do need another ball
Wow, my
handler.
boy.
We do need another ball handler in terms of table setting because Spencer does handle the ball well, but he's a scoring guard. He sets the table for himself. We had a chance to sign, DSJ. I guess they were against that. We had a chance to sign Goran Dragic. They were against that, but we decided to get Walmart, no, Great Value, JJ Barea instead of Facu Campazzo. So that shit is ridiculous. I don't get it. But Kit said give him 10 games, and I don't like that because 10 games can be the difference. You are a number 5 seed or a playing team. So hopefully we get it together. The first 4 games of the season, people just overreact, but that's why we're here.
Chris, would you mind before we move on for the game that I give a few more shout outs?
Yeah, get one more. I'm trying to give space to bring you up here, who's also a Pelicans fan, so we can allow you to go ahead.
I gotta do an interview, so that's perfect. They'll definitely replace me real quick. So
Yeah.
First of all, I want to obviously I shouted out Rel already. Jaleel, Pels family, dude. I appreciate you guys pulling up to Who Spaces. Jared Lyons, I appreciate you guys. And one last shout out before I have to go. The Jonas Valanciunas trade 5 years from now is going to look like a highway robbery, my friends. We traded the 10th pick in return for the 17th pick for Trey Murphy. Okay. And then we gave them a fake first, a Lakers first, that ended up becoming Dyson Daniels. So Sosa brought up shout out to the front office. They were getting a lot of flack less than a year ago. So shout out to the Pels front office, Trajan Langdon, Swin Cash, David Grisham. Thank you guys so much.
All right.
Also, Chris, real quick with the Mavericks, this is just a testament to like roster deficiency. Yeah, like we it's crazy how the fan base knows what the team needs, but the front office doesn't. So it's weird to me that you would consider Tim Hardaway Jr. like your best free agent signing because he was injured last year. Tim is definitely not a ball handler. He is best as catch and shoot. Like because his reputation as a scorer in the league is like that. Like he actually, like distracts the defense a little bit, but that man cannot dribble. Also, like we gotta lock up Donnie Nelson because why does this team not develop players or even draft good ones? Because the ones we draft don't even stay in the league, so that means they suck at scouting. We need to get something done.
I feel you. I feel that pain, and as somebody who lived through the process, let me tell you, I would rather go through the process than live in purgatory. Like I would literally rather my team suck than fight for an 8 seed. All right, we got a lot of hands, so we're going to go ahead and close this up. EK Bankai, we will then close it up with Jose and you so he can get his Pels talk in here. We'll move on to the next game. Sean with the W and Nat are up here, and we're going to go to them next as we go ahead and set up the second hour brought to you by slamgoods.com. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's the only sponsor that we have beyond you, right? The listener. And we want to take the time to say thank you to Slam Goods because, let's be honest, their name in terms of the reverence of basketball is phenomenal. Like, if you are of a certain age, you know what Slam Magazine was and what it meant. And they are here saying, we appreciate the work you're putting in here as a creator, building this community. And they said, hey, here, like if your people love basketball, they might like some stuff here. We got apparel, collectibles and stuff, but you can have them save money. And it works both ways. You go there, you buy something you like, you're happy, and we get credit for it without getting a dollar because what we're trying to show them is the value of community is really important, that they should actually come here, and not just for me, but they should be able to support Live from the Mecca. They should be able to support Combos Court. They should be able to support 77 Spaces because this is what this technology is going to do, being a disruptive technology. So, back the people who are backing us as individual creators. Head over to Slam Goods over at slamgoods.com. Use promo code HoopSpaces. Save 15% off your entire purchase. I think that was a good ad hoc read. Like that I did that. Boom. Just right then and there. EK and Bonkai, we're going to go to you two next. We'll go to Jose and we'll close with you as Victor goes to spoils and he wants to talk some Pels. EK, thanks for your patience. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem, Chris. Thanks for allowing me up again. I just wanted to quickly give a shout out to New Orleans, not only the front office staff, because they've been amazing, but also the city of New Orleans. Pardon me. Also the city of New Orleans, because beignets are absolutely amazing. Um, but getting back to the game, honestly, I feel like the Dallas Mavericks are really, really feeling the loss of Jalen Brunson right about now. When you look at Luca's usage rate, I think he's in like the 40s in, as far as usage rate. He's led the league in usage rate since 2020, 2021, but it seems different now because he really doesn't have another individual who can create any type of offense for him if he wanted to go off ball. So I don't think he's really good off ball, but he doesn't even have the option to do that now because like I said, Dinwiddie is not really a guy who's going to play make and get shots for other guys. Tim Hardaway's a catch and shoot guy at this point in his career. And other than that, you don't really have anybody else who can create like that. And although you guys ended up getting Christian Wood, he's a stretch big who can score in bunches, but he's not very good defensively. He's become a better rebounder, but he's not going to play make for you. So that leaves Luka on an island for the most part, having to go one on one most times which is why I'm not necessarily mad at the shot he took last night because what better shot were they going to get, right? Moving on to New Orleans, I really just love you guys' team, man. I mean, when you look at the construction of the team, you guys got everything. I mean, Trey Murphy the third was amazing last night. Guys like Najee Marshall, Jonas Valanciunas has been absolutely amazing this year. He's averaging 16 and 11 and a half rebounds, like just amazing. And the fact that you guys were able to win without Bi and also without Zion just shows the foundation that you guys are building. And I really, really feel like you guys are going to be good for a very, very long time. So I really liked watching you guys play. The ball movement was good. The ball pop, guys were really good. So yeah, shout out to New Orleans, man. Guys are doing good things.
Yeah, you know what? And David Griffin is laughing at everybody. Like we all clowned him coming out of Cleveland, saying he only won with LeBron, and we were wrong. And the sooner we admit it, the better we gonna feel about it. He what? He what? Like that he's built the team, bro. Like tell me I'm wrong. Like you would switch your team. You would want this team to be the Knicks. Like I mean, come on. It's scary. Got to be honest. Bonkai, go, then Jose, and then we'll close out with the Pels talk with you. Then we're going to come up to my co-hosts, people who've been with me since day one, Sean with the W and Nat, a.k.a. Reese Rebel, 31 the handle. And we're going to talk about a couple other games. And I really want to get into this, why Kawhi Leonard isn't starting. I want to get Nat and Sean's take on it. And it's time to just put John Wall in the starting lineup as well. We'll talk Thunder Clippers next. Bonkai, go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to that Pelicans roster. I think it was constructed not only with, having Zion being the main star there with BI, but I think they also kind of constructed it with, keeping in mind that Zion could miss games throughout the season, given his injury history. So I think it was constructed with that in mind. So they put a bunch of solid players together that, can still carry you throughout, the regular season and still get you some wins and put you in maybe in a good playoff spot. And not always have to rely on Zion during the regular season. You can kind of keep him fresh. That's a roster you can't underestimate. And one more thing I want to say, that I hear that correctly, that, they need to find a way for Luka to play off the ball. Like he doesn't have a main ball handler. You kind of did. You had Jalen Brunson and you let him walk. So...
Hey, Knicks fans ain't never gonna let that go.
Just saying that you had the guy right there. You let him walk.
Nate, not enough has been made that they let him walk
That was
for
a terrible,
nothing.
absolutely poor, terrible, asinine decision by the Knicks.
Because they wouldn't even do a sign and trade because it was butthurt that we showed up to their playoff game. Like that's cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Hey, we're going to a Mavs fan next with Jose. Jose, you're being accosted by the front office.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. We're not accosting him. We are making fun of the front office.
Okay.
Don't do that.
You're right.
Don't do that.
You're right.
See, that's the second time today. That's the second time today.
What?
You mischaracterized what I said. That's twice.
Did I mischaracterize what you said about food? You said don't eat at gas stations.
I didn't say that. So now you're just lying on the internet.
Are we back here again?
Well, I was trying to go to Jose.
Are we back here again?
Chris, you know what? Shout out to Mavs Draft Below, because I believe he posted a tweet the other day actually, acknowledging the value of Jalen Brunson, and he was acknowledging that there was a fact that some Mavs fans were trying to like undervalue him just because he left for the Knicks, and he kind of shot that down. So shout out to him. I believe that tweet was by him. I
Yeah,
gotta
so
look for it.
he's a great follow. He does the Mavs. He also does some Magic, and he does the NBA draft. And if you don't follow him, I don't know why. Like it's a good account. Like seriously, get over it. Shoot him a follow. Jose, your front office has been accosted with questionable decision making as the charge. Your thoughts?
So here's the thing. Jalen Brunson deserves to be paid. That goes without a doubt. I made a tweet to Sean yesterday saying that, like, for a faction of Mass Twitter was acknowledging how big the loss of Jalen Brunson would be. Now, here comes the oversaturation talking points of, oh, Luca needs another ball handler, which is still correct, but I also want to bring up the usage rating for Luca. Last year was still at 37%. So with Spencer Dinwiddie and Jalen Brunson, his usage was still high. I think what some people miss about the Mavericks roster is the limitations of certain role players. Like you have Reggie Bullock who can't even really lay it up in transition, and last night Dinwiddie hit him on a transition pass, and he wasn't able to get it at the rim. It was asinine. Like Sean says, asinine, asin 10, asin 11. Uh, and then also like Dorian Finney-Smith is not really able to put the ball on the court. I mean, we have very limited role players, and something that the Pelicans roster was able to exploit was the fact that they have role players who are able to do multiple things on the court when it really matters. And when you see a guy like Maxi who is 3 and D, okay, what else does he bring? I mean, he gives you the tenacity on defense. He's able to hit some spot down threes. But when you have limited role players, it's just what else can you do as a team? And this is why there's a cap on the Dallas Mavericks in terms of where and how far they could go into the playoffs. I said it before the season that I have this team as a second round playoff team, and that's it. That's all. And that's because I need to see some definitive wing depth and also need to see another ball handler. Now, some of the push from Matt's Twitter has been, hey, we need to get OG Ananobi. We need to get Jalen Brown from Boston Celtics because these guys could at least put the ball on the court and at least still have that high 3 point catch and shoot rating that we need. And then also, you put some perimeter defense out there, and then bam, the Mavericks ceiling could go a whole nother level. But you know, I have no quarrel against Jalen Brunson. Again, I will reiterate myself that he needed to be paid. And Mark Cuban is a cheap ass fucking owner that he needs to get out of his own way, let other people do their job, let other people scout, and bring what needs to be brought to the Dallas Mavericks. That's all.
I have I have a question, Jose.
Go ahead.
I have no problem with giving you Jalen Brown, but what are you going to give me on top of Luca? Like, does something
Oh,
else
oh,
come
you
back?
ain't getting Luca.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Uh,
All right.
what are you doing here? Like, what are you doing? You get mad at us for bringing up like gas station food, and you over here trying to rob Luca from Dallas. Like you want the whole city to be
Because
at you.
what the hell do I want from Dallas that is not named Luca?
Well, right now, Christian Wood.
Yeah, but not for Jalen Brown.
Christian Wood.
Christian Wood.
Okay, look, Sean, they are literally 5 minutes away from playing Luke Cornett 20 minutes a game.
All right. See, now
But that's an
you stop hitting
indictment.
below the belt, Chris. Stop hitting below the belt.
But
That's not right.
To Jose's point, that's an indictment on the front office, and not even the front office. Mark Cuban, like they could have signed Brunson to a $55 million extension, but they before last season, but they didn't want to do it. And then they were like, "Oh, we're gonna keep him. We can pay him the most money, and like just max him and figure it out later." Like, listen, as I said to everyone in this, if I say to, I've said it to anyone for years. If you think a move, if you're not sure if a move makes sense or a move should be clowned, just imagine the Knicks doing it. And if you laugh at that, then guess what? You should laugh at the other team.
That is a very, very good tip. Y'all should write that down because
Like, imagine if the Knicks drafted Jalen Brunson in the second round, could have signed him for $55 million, and then watch him walk out the door for nothing. That would be the A block on First Take for 2 weeks.
Yeah, until Brooklyn did something. Because, like, let's be honest, ever since a certain duo ended up in Brooklyn, they've been getting the negative headlines more. Until Julius is Julius.
True. But no one cares about Brooklyn. We can keep going.
Let's stop this Julius Randle hate. No
You know what?
Julius
Yeah.
Randle hate.
Yes, we should because he's still a good player. He is back, and we're going to talk about that in a second after Viral Nico goes, and we can finish up the first hour segment and move on to the second one. We got OKC and the Clippers. We have some Wizards talk, and we will get into the games tonight, of which New York and Boston are playing, and we're going to hear from two of the best creators we have here on Twitter Spaces, Sean with the W and Nat. But up first, someone who met us here on day one. He supports the community, and we are wanting to support him. We're going to give the floor to Viral Nico. Then we're going to close out to the victor goes to spoils with you so he can get his Pelicans propaganda going off. JB Fortis is in the wings getting ready to come up, and everybody, it's been a great morning already. Appreciate it. Happy days. Good morning. Viral, go ahead.
Good morning, Chris. Thank you for speaking right now. I just have a little break from class. I would just like to shout out Nat on her new position. Nat, first of all, also shout out to the other Nat. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was a little promo for season 2 of My GM for her show where she does make
So you
believe
think you're a
tricks.
GM?
Yep.
Got you, viewer. Thank you.
That's the promo right there. I need you guys to tune in also to the Knicks film spaces that we did on RJ Barrett with Gifted X Blade. We did yesterday, Sean. Also, shout out to optimistic Pels fan. Trey Murphy is one of my favorite 3-and-D players. He's really uncut gem, I would call him. So that's great. Oh, also shout out to Swin Cash, former New York Liberty player in the front office. Shout out to Jose and 77 Mass Spaces. They always put out phenomenal work. And it's a really great Mavericks community. All right. Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely, Viral. Lots of people coming into the group chat down below. We want to say thank you. We appreciate it. If you can't get up here with a mic, you can definitely get up in the group chat, and a lot of people reply back to you. And there's a couple people. I'm with y'all, man. Like, I am with you about this ketchup thing. Like, ketchup does not belong on breakfast, period. In
Chris.
fact, ketchup should not be on your plate, period. It's just disgusting. What?
Chris.
What?
Oh my God.
Well, I'm trying. Look, I've got a segue because it was as disgusting as the Clippers are when they don't play Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and they lost last night to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who, for whatever reason, like I need to know what Shea Gilgeous does in the morning with his trainers because he was out yesterday, and he was in last night or 2 days ago, and in last night, dropping 33, 8, and 5.
Right.
And the question I have, Nat and Sean, like no one was really watching this game unless you are a fan or you are looking at SGA to be traded. One, is SGA going to be traded? And two, how does Oklahoma City get away with this open soft tank? I'm lost.
Well, number one, everybody that's tanking, and we know they're tanking, they look like they're just doing so damn well right now. And I'm telling you, when it hits game 20 of the season, they're going to go on these nasty runs of who can lose the most games in a row. Also, with the Clippers and Shea, that's his old team. And he was traded in swap of Paul George. He's going to give it to the Clippers every single time he sees them. So I wasn't shocked at all by what happened. He's gonna always show up. Also, he's ascending. He's getting better. I do think he gets traded though, because I just don't see how. I don't know. There's more you can get for him because there's a few teams that can use him. So I think that they do tank, but I think that it's going to take these teams, game 20 to go on like that 15 game losing streak. What do you think, Sean?
Um, yes, you're right. Like this is like check back with me in Christmas, and when they've lost like 7 of 8, right? Um, answer Chris's question. Like Oklahoma City gets away with it because one, the owner of the team was BFS with David Stern. Two, uh, not Sam Hinkie, whoop, Freudian slip. Sam Presti does a very good job of buttering up the media and giving them access and do what he wants. Like, people lose their minds. Like the New York, and I take everything back to Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan, so deal with it. The New York Knicks are actively trying to win games, but the front office gets lambasted because they don't talk to the media. Whereas the Oklahoma City Thunder actively try to lose games, but Sam Presti goes out there, he shakes hands, he kisses babies, he takes pictures, and I was like, okay, it's fine. And also, it's Oklahoma City. The only way they can get good is to be bad, and so that's why I don't give a shit about small market teams. I don't have any sympathy for small market teams whatsoever, because they get to do things that certain teams can't. And if you don't think you can compete because you're in a small market, move. Austin, Texas is available. So that's all I really got to say.
I would not want a team in Austin, Texas.
Vegas is available. Seattle's available. Austin, I think, is the largest city in the country without a pro team in the 4 major sports. So I was but Seattle's available. Vegas is available. Austin is available.
Nashville's available.
Memphis,
Louisville,
Kansas
Pittsburgh.
City. Yeah. So yeah, if the reason is like we can't do this because we're in Oklahoma City, who the bleep told you to leave Seattle for Oklahoma City?
San Juan, by the way, is one of my wishes for a pro NBA team in Puerto Rico. I think it's a good move on several fronts. One, for international expansion. Two, for living up to what they say the NBA's community-driven promise to the fans is, like they want to be a bedrock of a community, and if they were to go to San Juan, they would be able to revitalize and provide jobs and economic infrastructure. I think that would help turn around, what a beautiful island that's been swamped in the last 5 years since a couple of hurricanes literally ripped everything that they had. That's just me. And if you actually have a desire, once we start talking later on into the season about expansion, because it's coming, I promise you, we are going to have a pure 1 hour show, maybe even longer, about expansion in the NBA, where we will go through what it looks like in terms of how it's going to be negotiated in the collective bargaining agreement, what the cap structure might look like, how they might do a draft, what free agency will be like because free agency changes. It's not easy to just turn up, flip up a light and say, let's go. A lot gets into it. And I think it's a very interesting conversation we might have. All right. Cool. Go ahead. What's up?
Real quick, I got to hop for a meeting. I'll be back in a half hour because I do want to discuss the RJ space that we had last night, the games tonight. And I'm pretty sure the last 15 minutes, we're going to devolve into literal and figurative throwing food at each other about these food takes. So I'm here for all of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I don't know how much more we're going to be able to talk about Oklahoma City and the Clippers. We got like 10 minutes for that, and we'll hit up Suns Warriors. But that third hour, when you get back, we definitely going to dive into it. And we're also going to tell you once again, or those who are down below, you simply don't like this fact, but the Knicks got better. We're going to talk about it in the third hour. Nat, going back to Thunder Clippers, are we starting to get concerned with the Clippers about this idea of what load management should be or is? Because everything coming out of Los Angeles is that Kawhi is ready to play, but the team seems to be yanking back on that minute restriction, saying, whoa, we want you at 50, 55 games so you're healthy by the playoffs. This was the same thing that pushed them out of San Antonio. But what's up in your perspective? And then after you will go to JB Fortis and Breeze and Chris. Appreciate everybody. Good morning.
So, number one, John Wall looks great. We have to, we all everyone has to admit they were wrong. You were worried that he wasn't John Wall of 2017. He does not have to be, and I kept telling you that. He looks great. All right, this is a bright spot for them, and he's actually going to. There are going to be games he's going to save them, because of this signing. He's not a bench player, and I said that again. He's not a guy that needs to come off the bench. He's a starter. He needs to start for them. Norman Powell has been atrocious. You know, uh, Straight atrocious. Straight put him in the G League. He forgot how to play basketball. He's just not been good. This man is a -20. Last night, he had the worst plus minus of everyone on that team. You know who was next? Nicholas Batum. These are people that they have on this team, or they re-signed on this team to contribute to a championship. These people have not been playing well, and Nicholas Batum looks like he needs minutes taken away from him. He should not be suiting up, and Norman Powell looks like a waste of money. These are the issues that they are running into, because the guys that they signed are not stepping up to the plate. They're not showing up how you thought that they would. I am concerned about the Clippers, because you need what's his name, Morris, Marquise
Marcus
Morris.
Morris. Yeah,
Marcus Morris.
Marcus.
Jesus Christ. I'm like, I know this guy. Like, Jesus Christ. Marcus Morris, they need him, but my concern about him is he's in a different headspace. He just had a loss in his family, and sometimes Morris comes in and he's not in the best of shape, and he gets to the point where his conditioning gets a little interesting, and he's not playing the kind of ball he can play. So then he becomes the guy that misses a lot of threes, misses a lot of shots, and then he's not the Morris you see for the first couple games. So I am concerned. They just need to sit Reggie Jackson down and say, hey, thank you for being with us and starting, but we're going to put you on the bench, and that would take pressure off of him and put John Wall in the starting lineup where he belongs. We got to stop trying to hurt people's feelings, and people just have to be professionals at some point. And as far as Kawhi, he needs to play. Like, you're healthy, you got these big ass legs over the off season and all these muscles and shit. You are covered, you are good, you are healthy. Get your ass out there and play 65 games. Like, I don't get it. So I am concerned about the Clippers, and if things don't change for them by the trade deadline, I don't know, Chris.
I was wondering because
Can I rebut here?
yeah, sure. Go ahead, John. Good morning.
All right. First things first. We are in the tinkering tie phase of the season, so you will. We last season this was a slow start until they made the change. I think 10 games in. So relax, everybody. Relax. Marcus Morris played well the first couple of games. His father died. I mean, come on. Let's go. We should give him a pass here for like the last couple of games. I believe when the last few minutes, that Nico and John would have come back to the game if the comeback was like closer to feasible. But since they're old, and we're in we'd rather preserve them for future use than they'll play. That's why they're not. That's why they didn't come back to the game. And I just feel like I'm not going to ask Kawhi to sacrifice himself the way Rob Williams sacrificed himself just to get to try the championship. And then he's now not going to play until January at the earliest. So like we're thinking ahead here. So we're fine as it is. We will let uh, Tinkering Ty do his thing. I know that the eventual move to move John Wall to the starting lineup will happen eventually at some point, but we want to see how he wants to see how this combination players go. It's kind of difficult when when you have a pretty much limited by how much Kawhi in his early minutes restriction of more or less around 20 minutes does to this to the what you call the chemistry and all that. But we're good enough to be able to compete against teams and be considered as contenders. Although the loss was disappointing, yes, it sucks to not be able to compete against an SGA team and a lot of guys that you would expect Sam Presti to try to auction off at some point within this season or next season. So it's disappointing, but we move. We're not that concerned. We're not that panicking. If Chris is not panicking about the Sixers, and Sean is not panicking about the Knicks, or Malika not panicking about the Nets, we're not panicking here on our end. We're at end of LA, so we're fine.
Well, Malika should be panicking about the Nets, number one, and I appreciate you, but number two, um, Robert Williams, yes, he was in pain. Should he have played? No, I agree. But if Kawhi is not where Robert Williams is, and he is healthy coming into the season, healthy being the word, then why isn't he playing? You can manage all you want, but at some point this is going to have to work. And there's nothing you can say about Norman Powell not playing up to standards. There's nothing you can say about Nicholas Batum not playing up to standards. Nothing you can say about Reggie Jackson not playing well in that
Because
starting
Reggie
lineup.
Jackson's hurt.
Say it again.
Reggie Jackson has a groin issue. That I
Okay,
don't know why he's still be. I don't know why he's actually playing, because it's
but
affecting
John,
his
that is
play.
my but that's my point. Those they're it's not playing well. They didn't play well last night. So
I know.
therefore, what I'm
That's
saying.
that's a given. Yes,
Okay,
I
so
know
what
that we
I'm
did not play well, but that's
but
because we're
John,
not.
listen. But John, listen. What I'm saying is they still have to play better. He can have a growing injury. That's fine. It doesn't change the fact that I think that John Wall should be the starter. It doesn't change the fact that I still say that, well, to me it's common sense. Norman Powell has to play better. He has to play up to the standard of why they got him, as does Nicholas Batum. That this is the thing. I think the bright spot last night is, I think, Zubac is doing his damnedest with the in 7 blocks. I mean, that's great, but these guys still need to play better. Well,
I know. I mean, it's just early.
I like
I
how you
hear
guys are arguing the exact same point and yet disagreeing.
I don't get what was there to disagree.
He just doesn't like the phraseology of how you're coming at his team. That's
Did
all.
Norman Powell play well?
No.
No, but
I don't.
that's a matter of aggression, because he's not being asked to.
So
He's kind of
so
deferring.
the problem that I have is there, and this is just a basic philosophy problem. There's a two-tiered system here, and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard live in a tier that Reggie Jackson doesn't. So if Reggie Jackson has an injury but he's going out there, a majority of fans are going to look at it as that dude is going out there. Like he can still get even more hurt playing hurt, and yet the main guy isn't there, and we're wanting to see him because it's been 2 years. That's all. I agree with you. Ty is gonna have to figure out how these lineups work, and that's what he's doing. We're gonna go JB Fortis next. We got EK. We have Breeze. Thank you, everybody. We also have Chris for Sports. Malay, I'll get you up here in a second. Thank you, everybody. Good morning, JB. Take it.
If you could believe it, I actually wanted to come up here and talk about the Washington Wizards, and I was all set to do such a thing until I heard my guy over here, Mr. JP Manahan, bring up Robert Williams' name in vain. Um, let's talk. Let's do a really deep dive about your precious Clippers ever since Kawhi Leonard and Paul George got there, right? You should be. Let's go back and let's see if we can remember all the times they made the Western Conference Finals. Maybe because they haven't. Or let's see if we can remember the time they lost to the Denver Nuggets, or the time they lost to the Phoenix Suns. Because that's what I remember, and that's what the rest of NBA history remembers as maybe the largest failure, unless they make the Western Conference Finals this year, the largest failure of two superstars going to a team based off of expectations. You should be asking Kawhi to play. You should be asking Paul George to play, because as we sit here right now, they haven't won anything. You're not good enough to make the Western Conference Finals since dual signing, and you are
We
good enough
did.
to lose.
We
You
did.
are. I'm going to finish. You
We
went for like
did.
20 minutes. I've gone for
We
one.
did.
Sit tight.
We did.
You're good enough to lose to the Thunder just last night without both guys. Robert Williams, on the other hand, was good enough to know that he was going to have an opportunity to play in the NBA Finals. That's why he came back. And they almost won it before Curry went nuclear. They were damn close. That's what you play the game for, to win NBA championships. For the rest of his life, absent the knee problems, right? Absent the knee problems, Robert Williams will be able to tell his kids, tell his family, and find a way to live off of $59 million saying, you know what? I came back. My knees were good. We didn't get it done. We didn't win an NBA championship, but I absolutely gave it my all. And by the way, just so you know, Kawhi Leonard is absolutely going to be able to say the same thing to whatever chairs that he's been sitting on for all of these years every time they do load management. Like, so whenever Kawhi Leonard is in the past, is like sitting down and talking to his kids, he's going to get to say, you know what? I gave it my all from the luxury box suite at the LA Clippers crypto arena that they share with the Lakers. Whenever I was cheering them on. So get off of Rob Williams. They're not in the same boat. In fact, go root harder for Reggie Jackson because at least he's putting his body out there, you know, the same way Rob Williams did. Man, Chris, all I wanted to talk about was the Wizards. But yeah, all right. I guess that's my first rant. Whenever we move to the Wizards, I have a lot to say about them.
So, disclaimer, right? Really quick. Me and JB never agree on anything. Like, me and JB are always at the opposite of the realm. And sometimes we think that the other is just, I don't know. But today, JB chose to be very funny. And I think there was some truth into some things that he said, Chris. What do you think?
I say this, like, if you understand that there are players that exist at a level above the average NBA player, the argument doesn't hold weight for me. But if you want to live in a world where every player is treated equally, then JB is absolutely 100% right. But, like, let's be honest, Robert Williams and Reggie Jackson aren't Kawhi Leonard, right?
Of
Like,
course.
Kawhi Leonard, it represents more than a basketball player and a shot at competition. He represents a $42.7 million investment, right? Like,
Chris, I want to respond to you when you're done.
We have to understand that in the new NBA, that investment overrides literally every thought going into who's going to play until a specific time when you need the competition, i.e. closing out 20 games out of the season going into the playoffs, right? That's why we see ever since Greg Popovich started it with Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, like those long rodeo road trips where we wouldn't see them play but 3 or 4 times. Then we started seeing it spread. Like, we understand now that teams view this as an asset investment as opposed to an active competition at times. And do I like it? No. But, like, I've learned to accept it, because if you don't accept it, you're just not going to be happy as a fan. Like, that's just the honest truth. JB and Nat, you guys can reply. We got EK, Malia, and Breeze up here. We'll go there. And then we've got another 15 minutes. We'll get his Washington take in, and we'll get ready to talk about what's going on tonight.
I will be very quick in my rebuttal, which is that it is true that they exist on different on different planes. Everything you say is true, but it is also way too positive. The flip side of the coin of signing those big contracts, of signing and being the big investment and being on that plane, is that you also receive the blame and receive the spotlight when your investment does not work out or comes up short. If you are willing to accept all of the hype and all of the happiness during success, you better be willing to accept all of the blame and all of the sadness of your failure. And right now, as we sit here talking, that signing, specifically the Kawhi Leonard signing and the Paul George signing, have not lived up to the investment that Steve Ballmer invested in. And additionally, even more, all 32 teams do play on the same plane. They are all trying to win an NBA championship, even if they don't have it this year. They all try to go for the exact same goal at the end. So in the event that you are a major investment and your team does not make it there, just be prepared to live your life with that scrutiny. and not just with the money.
I love the fact that you added 2 teams. We're at 30, but we will get to 32 really soon. Nat,
Oh, I
go
was
ahead.
counting San Juan. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Jay. No, mainly when it comes to just the Clippers, right? Because as we all know, I've actually been supporting the Clippers for a long time. Even back in the Doc Rivers days, like I got a lot of love for the Clippers, and you guys have some of my favorite players on there. I just expect more and better, especially from Norman Powell. Like the others, these guys have to play well in order for the rest of the guys, Paul George and Kawhi, so they can play. I still would like to see both of those guys play 60 plus games this year, because I think that reads really well and it means good things for the playoffs. That's what I want to see. But I want to see them do well. I still have them top 3 in the West. So this is not hate, but I just expect more. But definitely show love to John Wall, and John Wall deserves to be the starting point guard.
All right, in our way too early overreaction, super small sample size, shout out to Tony Schwartz, NBA. The Clippers would be the 10th seed right behind the Golden State Warriors if the season ended today.
Right.
There you go.
Of course.
Let me clear these hands up, and then we're going to get JB's take on the Washington Wizards, because somebody's got to talk Wizards ball. We'll go to Bonkai, we'll go to EK, we'll go to Breeze, Malaya, and we'll give Chris for Sports and John a chance to come back. And then we will close out this segment, this hour segment, with JB Ford is talking Wizards. Bonkai, 60 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chris. So I was just thinking about it, and not that I have anything against the Clippers in general, but I think that's another team that's underachieved with the level of talent they've had, and they haven't gotten enough smoke for my liking. They're just like the Nets. Like they got the big players, they got the upper, I guess, semi upper echelon role players. I mean, not this season so far, but like previous years, and they just haven't delivered anything. Yeah, sure, you've had injuries. It's unfortunate, but just overall, they haven't delivered on a championship. And just like the Nets, they don't get enough smoke for my liking.
Wow. I'm using that quote. I'm not using the get enough smoke. I ain't trying to get you hemmed up by Clippers Twitter. And if y'all don't know, Clippers Twitter is they out there. They out there, man. I love Clippers Twitter. They're like Raptors Twitter, but in Los Angeles. So be careful. EK, your thoughts?
Yeah, man. So I agree with what JB said. JB, that was a beautiful soliloquy on the dumpster fire of an organization that is the Los Angeles Clippers. The Los Angeles Clippers are just annoying to me. And the reason why is, you said it, Chris, $47 million invested into one player, and you can't ask him to play 60 plus games. I mean, at this point, it's getting ridiculous. What do we hear during the offseason? Oh, his legs are so strong. He looks ready to go. He's ready to go. That's what people were saying. And we're literally 5 games in. And he's already taking nights off. Like, I thought he used this time to get stronger and to get healthy. And it seems as if this is what's going to be a trend for the Clipper season. You're going to have lows and you're going to have highs. And the highs are going to be extremely good. And you're going to think you're the best team in the league and you think you're going to win a championship. And then the lows will be getting knocked out in the second round unceremoniously, like it always does, like always. So in my opinion, I'm not necessarily a Clippers guy, although I do hope that Kawhi and PG stay healthy and are able to play. But recent history tells me that the organization will mess that up. They're going to let Kawhi play 45 to 50 games. The cohesion is going to be horrible, and they'll get knocked out in the second round of the playoffs like they do every year. Thank you.
Golly. Nobody likes the Clippers now? Like, everybody's trending pick was the Clippers in the offseason.
That wasn't what I said. I showed love to the Clippers. I just said that, damn.
Okay, well,
Of
first,
course,
then
everybody.
that Boston love is tough love, then, because you up here like, I love the Clippers. Norman Powell sucks.
He has been sucking. Come on.
Of course, everybody.
The
Everybody
expectations, Chris. The
hates that team, right?
expectations. I'm telling
Everybody
you.
hates that team.
I did not expect this type of Kawhi talk today. I'm not gonna lie. Malaya, good morning. I have no idea what you're gonna say, but you're gonna say something, and we're here for it.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. You heard the
Yeah,
clock.
don't be disrespectful. Anyways, how you doing, Nat? And how you doing, Chris? And how you doing, JB? You know, everybody I love down there. You know, I love y'all. Okay. I just want to say, Anyways, my yes, I know my Warriors got beat last night by Mr. Kardashian and Chris Paul that I don't care for either. But I just want to say, yeah, I don't hate the Clippers either. I think they're gonna be good. They'll bounce back like Chris's Sixers and yeah, I just want to say, Chris, I get it. His team's struggling. If the season ended, they will probably be getting probably try to get Wembanyama, but and I think that's why he talked about other teams. And I don't get why people hate on the Clippers. I don't get it. I have nothing against Kawhi. I get, some he be hurt, and that's very sad. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. And also, like when that point about Malika should be worrying about her Brooklyn Nets, I'm just saying it ain't time for her to worry because they gonna get to the playoffs. But when they get to the playoffs and they be in their feelings, then it's time to worry about her. Okay, I just how's she gonna handle 3 people that be in their feelings? But that's all I had to say.
Yeah, well, right now Brooklyn is the 10th seed. Philly would not get Victor Wembanyama, nor would they be in the play-in if the season ends today. And your today's super small sample size. I should have a sound effect for that, but like I'm lazy when it comes to sound effects. Like they aren't cheap, by the way. I don't know if y'all noticed, but like some sound effects are literally trademarked or copyrighted or whatever it is. And like you play it, and then YouTube won't play your stuff. It's hilarious. Hey, shout out down below as we get ready to close up the second hour. We got a couple more people yet to talk. We're going to get to them. But if you do need some Nets, because the Nets were brought up, there's some dope follows you can have. Malika Walker of the Rewind Pod, Saint, and Next Kingdom AJ over there from Next Kingdom on YouTube and here on Spaces. And even Brandon, if you run into him, is a great Nets and Hornets fan to follow. Give him a hug because the Mets this year, he's also a Mets fan, had a bad close and it's really carried over into this season. And he really could use all the positivity that he can get. Up next, we're going to head over to Breeze. Breeze, thank you for your patience. After you, we're going to go talk with Chris and get his take on the NBA. We'll close this hour with JB Fortis and his rant on the Washington Wizards, who I believe are this year's Washington Wizards. Thank you, everybody. Breeze, go ahead.
Appreciate you, Chris. I don't mind being patient because people be up here cooking, and then when they don't, y'all let them know they're not cooking. Very good space. Uh, the For the Clippers, I just think it's hard to be playing musical chairs with rotations, fam. Like you got Paul George, you got Kawhi. You can't play the same brand of basketball with these type of people, mainly Kawhi, that you have when they out, man. You got Covington over there, Powell, Kennard, man, whose minutes are directly affected to them playing and being in the rotation or not. So it's hard to navigate. The Brooklyn Nets couldn't do it when everybody was in and out of lineups. They can't do it either. It's not a recipe for success, man, with the Clippers. I do put them in the same boat as the Brooklyn Nets because it's just like when everybody signed and did the trades and everything, it was just like headlines. But at some point, man, it's just like your betting favorites can't they got to do something at some point. Like we can't keep saying they look good this year. After that, they look good this year. After that, they look good this year. They're gonna have to do something at some point. So as much as I like some of the players on their team, I don't hate both teams. But at some point, it's like, bruh, are y'all gonna do something with it, or is people just gonna keep you in tier 1 on 2K? Figure it out.
Mm. Mm. I'm very pro Clipper. I think as an organization, when Steve Ballmer took it over, like they've done a phenomenal job doing several things. Right, the first is atonement. They have put forth the effort and money to work in the community to build a fan base and not build essentially what was nobody. Like prior to, like they had a job, but like let's be honest, Donald Sterling didn't care. He really didn't. Steve Ballmer came in, and ever since then, there's a different life about the Clippers. And I've been saying this, like some of these Lakers fans that live there, they're gonna have to understand this is no longer the old Clippers. And I think what we're seeing is it's working out by the way they're holding back Kawhi and Paul George, right? I don't necessarily agree with it again. Like, I like them playing. I want them playing. But like Donald Sterling's Clippers, they would have been playing, and we saw what happened to Danny Manning. Like, we saw what happened to Darius Miles, right? Like, it's a new NBA, and quality of life and player protection from themselves is an actual thing we are going to have to get used to. All right, we got 5 minutes in this hour closed here. I'm going to go to JB Fortis after I go to Chris to get his thoughts. So JB, cue your Washington Wizards take up. After this, we'll go ahead and talk about tonight's games, as well as maybe again saying how bad Golden State was last night. First, Chris, what's up, man? Shooters shoot. What's your shot?
Yo, what up? What up? Appreciate you letting me on. I usually disagree with you a lot on the TL. I'm not gonna lie, Chris. You be saying some wild stuff, but I have to agree with you. Ketchup does not belong on no eggs, on no breakfast, nowhere. I just had to say that. I actually wanted to speak on the Warriors and Suns game. I don't know if we're doing that right now or you just said later.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, that was actually a great game last night. I think beef is back. I think beef needs to be back. We need some tension. We need some stuff to talk about during the regular season when it can get a little bit boring. The first half was some fun basketball, some great basketball. Clay, I don't know what got in Clay's head, but he got himself ejected for over what? I'm not sure, but him and Booker, it was kind of like the Spider-Man meme where they're both pointing at each other. I think they see a lot of themselves in each other, which is pretty funny. The light-skinned beef is back between them two. I haven't seen beef like that since Drake and Chris Brown was going at it, and it was great to see. I need to see it continue. Yeah, ever since Clay got ejected, though, the Warriors kind of lost a little bit of their mojo. They came out in the second half. They got it, close to like 12 points, and then the Suns came back and extended it and won. But yeah, I need to see. I'd love to see a playoff series between those two. These are the type of games that make the regular season fun to watch and stuff like that. So it was great to see last night.
Yeah, no, the big reason why we didn't is like there's a lot of Warriors talk. Like there is. So we talk about it, but we don't hit on it because there's dope creators like Nat Fluential. We've got the Space Gang with Guzzle and Urkel out there. And Gifted Blade also is a Warriors fan who does great Warriors content when he wants to. He tries to be all NBA, but when he talks Warriors, he can get in his bag. And we're just here to enjoy the fact that Devin Booker put it to the Golden State Warriors. Like, all y'all Warriors fans, how's it feel?
Absolutely, and that's okay. It's okay. Like, you're not gonna win every battle. It's okay to get cooked sometimes. It's gonna happen. That's the NBA. There's some good guys out there.
Jordan Poole should start. Had Jordan Poole started, they win.
Man, that's a great discussion. That is a great discussion.
Chris, get your life. Get your life. We talking. See, I'm about to get them.
Shoot, Malaya.
Somebody hold my earrings, y'all. Somebody hold my earrings. I'm about to get this man.
Shoot.
What I do?
And JP's a shooter. Put that shooter in the game.
Okay. Okay. Stop worrying about my team. Worry about yours, and worry about you secretly GM squad of the G League, Miami Heat. Go worry about them. Okay. I get it. We got smoked by Mr. Kardashian.
Literally, the joke is Sacramento, not the G League Miami team.
Chris, do you know something I don't know?
Well,
I'm confused.
We'll get there. I know a lot of things a lot of people don't know, and it just be weird. It's just weird. All right, moving on to JB as we go ahead and get ready to close out this second hour. JB, the Washington Wizards put it on another team, but we saw this last year. They put it on several teams, and then they became the Washington Wizards. Convince me this isn't going to happen again.
I'm not going to convince you that it isn't going to happen again, but I am going to say to you that it's different from what you saw last year. I'm going to say it's different in a couple of the following ways. In the 3 games the Washington Wizards have won, and I have my eyes on them, Bradley Beal has not scored more than 15 points in any of those games. As a matter of fact, he's been throwing the ball around and they've been running a much more fluid offense. All of the focus is going to be on Kyle Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis. And when you do that, it sounds like a joke, which is the reason why we're not focused on the Washington Wizards. But what I've been seeing is I've been seeing a team that moves and plays great defense. And I can't really pinpoint any of the players on the Washington Wizards who I don't think would be a solid rotation player for somebody at the trade deadline. I don't think that the Washington Wizards are going to contend for a championship. I also don't think that this is the same team that you saw last year. And the biggest reason that I think so is because I don't think that Bradley Beal is looking for a big contract. And I certainly haven't heard Bradley Beal's name in contract rumors. I think that has freed him up. Now, you probably will know better than me since you host the wonderful Hoop Spaces every single day. But I remember Bradley Beal's name being brought up for trade pretty much every day for the last 2 years, 3 years. And I don't hear his name being brought up at all. I don't hear any of the will Bradley Beal resign? They need to get out from under him. I don't hear any of that. Right now, all I hear is nothing, crickets about the Wizards. And so my eyes are on them. Now I'm going to have a better feeling about them when they do that back-to-back that they have next week against the Celtics and the 76ers. But I would say that it might be time for us to just sort of do a small sample size overreaction sound effect to the Washington Wizards. I think there's something going on. It might not be. There you go. I think something's up. Now, again, it may all collapse. They were 10-3 last year, and then they just collapsed and became who they were. But at the moment, it looks different on the court.
Yeah, I agree, and the main reason why we're seeing this is they picked up in a trade Monte Morris and Will Barton from Denver. They shipped out KCP, and Monte Morris is inserted in as the starting point guard. But let's be honest, his best position is the sixth man, is the first guard off the bench. So when he's in there, there's a hole in offensive creation. And what we learned with Bradley Beal last year is that he can score, but if he's going to end up being the guy from last year, the Wizards have no shot because he is going to be focused on by the defense. Now, when we talked about it earlier, that's why I said Kristaps Porzingis being healthy is weird because he brings out that center so far that it opens up the passing lanes. And now Bradley Beal kind of looks like the Bradley Beal of young, where he's actually able to drive again. And I think the Wizards will have a better foundational offense. And I think that's what JB's alluding to when he's saying these aren't last year's Wizards, because last year's Wizards, let's be honest, they did it with smoke and mirrors. Like if you could tell me how many minutes per game Ish Smith is playing right now for the Denver Nuggets, then maybe we can have this discussion. But he was starting for them at point guard at one point last year, right? Raul Neto was starting at point guard last year. And now they have a guy who knows how to play next to a high usage player who's going to swing the ball to make the extra pass. And I think it's opened up Washington's offense. And I think also we as a fan base of NBA fans need to go ahead and apologize to Kyle Kuzma. I think he gets, he makes a lot of questionable fashion decisions, I guess, but as a basketball player, tell me what's wrong. Tell me what he hasn't done to make you say, you know what, for $13 freaking million, I would love to have him on my squad. Because I tell you what, for $13 million, I would love to have him on my squad right now.
Why
What's up,
is
Sean?
one? Can I get my co-host
The
back?
Lakers would
Two.
too,
Why
right now.
is Breeze thumbs downing the Kuzma love?
I don't know.
Yo, Chris,
because
real
he-
quick then.
Highest
I'm gonna
form of
say
mid.
Ish Smith is playing 4 minutes a game this season so far.
I think he's only played 4 minutes, period.
The only issue, Chris, that Kyle Kuzma has ever had was that the people were trying to say he was better than Jason Tatum. That's the only thing I can remember why people had an issue with him. And
You
then
mean the Lakers fan said that shit?
That was kind of funny.
that's it.
You know what it
Other than that, I like him.
You know what it was? He's one of those dudes. He got drafted like 27th, 28th picks. You're not expecting anything, and then he's like better than you expect. It's like okay, and then the Lakers fans, because you know how they do, and everyone they draft is God, whatever. So there's like, oh, he's gonna take this leap. But it's like, yo, you can't take this leap when you play the same position as LeBron. So in Washington, he is in his correct role. Like he is exactly in the role he's supposed to be in, and he's thriving. Like Breeze, like when you say he's mid in terms of like, is he going to be an all-star? No. Is he going to be a star? No. Is he a good basketball player? Yes. And you need good basketball players.
It's like y'all are mad.
Can I just
Go ahead,
say
JB.
one really quick thing to Sean? Like, what we shouldn't be. I mean, I don't think anybody's realistic expectations for the Washington Wizards is like an NBA championship. But if Kyle Kuzma is your number 2 or your number 3 player, your number 3 in the pecking order, how is that not good enough to get to say the 6th seed or the play-in tournament at the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference?
Because
Is that
of
the expectation?
I would
With the team?
say. Oh, go ahead.
Isn't that the expectation of the Wizards to be in that 7 to 10
I
range?
don't think it was. I think that the expectation for the Wizards was to finish at the top, towards the top of the draft lottery, and have another year of rebuilding.
I don't think so. I think the Wizards expect to be in the play-in.
I didn't hear the Wizards be on that part of the conversation. The Wizards.
The Wizards aren't tanking, y'all. Like they went into this offseason. Ted Leonsis is not a tanker. Ted Leonsis, he wants to win. He's brought a win to the Capitals. He's been trying to buy the Washington Daniel Snyders. He wants he wants what every owner who actually grew up wanting to be an owner has, and that is a competitive city. Like he wants the Nationals to be competitive. He wants the Capitals to be competitive, and he wants the Wizards to be competitive. Like the Wizards have been tormented with this idea of rebuilding for almost 25 years. Like the best they had was John Wall and Bradley Beal, and like we saw that just wasn't enough. And now they're trying to do it a different way. They're not trying to go out and be anything better than just a really, really good basketball team. All right, let me get these hands out of the way. We've got Bad Guy, Dominic, Bonkai, JF with their hands up. We'll go up to Bad Guy first. We'll give Bonkai 60. We'll say what's up to my man Dom, hear his take. And we have JFK, who's also going to get ready for the Miami Heat and Toronto. That was yesterday. For the Miami Heat game later on tonight at 10 o'clock as they face Portland, who's 4-0. And I think Portland can beat them. All right, Bad Guy, good morning. Doc Rivers is a great coach and better than Nick Nurse.
Oh, yeah, he been better than Nick Nurse. That's a fact. We've been saying that. Hey, you know what else, Chris? Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, who the other one is? Brandon Ingram. We said they would all be good, that LeBron was holding them back. Look at them now. All of them are flourishing, man. It's good to see them. Maybe they need to think about that in LA. But I watching what's his name? Devin Booker? Man, I think he's the best player in the world right now, Chris. I love this time of the year because, like, you don't know who's the best player this year. Not yet. Like, still early. They jousting, right? I mean, Pascal Siakam is a top 10 player, so probably after the night, he won't be top 10 anymore, you know? But yeah, things is looking good. Things is looking good over here, Chris. Just, here for the festivities.
All right, Bonkai, 60 seconds.
You might want to skip me real quick. There's a lot of noise in the background.
All right, cool. Anthony, take his time.
What happened?
I don't know. Just say something for 60 seconds.
Oh, the Knicks gonna win the blowout tonight. That's what's gonna happen.
Love it.
Blowout.
That's what I'm talking about. How much?
I don't know. 20.
Damn.
25.
What you say, Sean? What you say, Breeze?
I would
Knicks by 2025.
I will take a nice a reliable 10 to 12 point victory.
10, bro.
Yeah,
Come
Sean
on,
don't know what he talking about.
See,
18
like,
minutes.
this is how we get in trouble. This
bro. Ain't
this
no,
is
Matt,
this what happened. This
No,
what happened to Orlando
we
last
get,
year.
bro. No,
not for the
Matt, I'm
Hornets,
tired of the
fam.
trash
Not
talking.
for the
We
Hornets,
here
fam.
and we gonna be back. Damn it.
Man,
All right,
I
Chris, I'm back.
all right, Bakai, go.
I will not give no score prediction on tonight because I'm a bit superstitious, so I'm not jinxing it. Uh, they did beat the Hawks. They beat the Hawks the other night, and they didn't really have anybody other than Dennis Smith Jr. What's that other guy's name?
So they
Nick
didn't really have
Richards,
anybody.
Nick
Gordon
Richards, Kelly
Hayward,
Oubre,
Dennis
and
Smith
Kelly.
Jr., Kelly Oubre, Mason Plumlee, PJ Washington played 28 minutes or more.
Yeah, like Chuck said last night during the TNT, halftime show, when you have NBA players out there, anything can happen. So I'm not going to underestimate the Hornets. But a quick question for you: who's the Washington Dan Snyder's? Like, excuse my ignorance, but I've been trying to figure that out.
The Washington Daniel Snyder's.
Yes.
He's the owner of the NFL professional football team that's in Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I don't respond to their name. They are the Washington Daniel Snyders until he's no longer the owner. Yeah, like I grew up in the DMV. Not a fan of Mr. Daniel Snyder's. Got no problem saying that. Zero problem. Dom, I think you understand why I don't have a problem saying that. But I'm just gonna say good morning or good afternoon. How you doing, brother?
Good morning, my brother. You know, every now and then, Chris, I just like to chime in and tell you do a great job, man. You're the best. I was very impressed with that how you became a chef. I thought all those pictures were just you joking. Though you do put up some weird shit. Excuse my French.
Yeah, no. So some of those I search out. Some of those I search out. Others are actually mailed to me. Like they DM me, and then a couple I have made and put up there.
Now, Chris, I didn't go to culinary school, but I did like you did. When I retired, I got bored and I just started cooking, and I actually started buying cookbooks. You know, I bought Amari Stoudemire's cookbook, and I just started dabbling. And next thing you know, I actually started enjoying it. But it's what's really nice, Chris. I see a lot of Knick fans up in your space, and that's great because they get a chance to see a real space go on without all the yelling and screaming. I got the Knicks by 13 tonight. I live in Carolina. I get to see the Hornets all the time. They're putting up some good smoke and mirrors. I love Dennis Smith Jr. For all those concerned, I watched him in high school down here in Fayetteville. I wish him the best. And Chris, all I can say is, brother, keep up the good work, man. You're the best out here. Don't slack up.
All right, look at you trying to. All right, sorry, man. Got a phone call, Dom. I appreciate the words. My affinity for you goes beyond what we do here. Your kind words are very, appreciative to me. Likewise to you. Thank you, and I'll look forward to talking to you more throughout the season. All right, gonna give some shout outs down there as we're into the third hour. Sean with the W's up here as a co-host, but his co-host for Live from the Mecca is down below. One of them, that's Cedric Shine. He's also the co-host of Nick's Chat a day after. And if you want to taste of New York, make sure you tune in tomorrow, 12 p.m. You'll be able to talk all things New York with Ced. I am Julito and I hate Sean. And then you'll get a dose of Jeff J. Ced, and Sean here with Live from the Mecca. Two different types of rooms here, one fandom. And it's the fandom that honestly drives part of the NBA, even if you don't want to admit it. Like, I get it. You're sick of the Knicks. But if it wasn't for the Knicks, nobody would talk about the Raptors, other than the fact that Doc Rivers is a better coach than Nick Nurse. Keenan, what's up?
What's going on, bro? Shout out to you in the spaces. Yeah, Pascal's been he's been hooping. I'm excited to see him tonight against Embiid and the Sixers, and that James Harden. The Raptors, or what's it called? The Sixers are the worst transition defense team in the league this year, and the Raptors are the best transition offense. So, hot take, I think the Raptors are going to win by 15, 20 points at least. Yeah, Pascal's going to hoop again, and top 10. let's keep it going.
All right. I see you don't want to engage on the bait, and I respect that. In fact, I'm gonna give you a round of
Oh,
applause.
that bait, yeah. Doc Rivers, his resume speaks for itself. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. The NBA agrees. Top 15 coach of all time. Thank you.
Doc Rivers should pray every single day to Tom Thibodeau for giving him a championship level defense and keeping him employed for the last 15 years. He should get on his hands and knees every single day.
That's all I hear.
If I'm bugging, throw up 100. Like, I don't think I'm bugging. I saw yeah, that may be what you heard. I saw a lot of thumbs ups and 100s down in the audience because they know the vibes.
Yeah. Speaking of vibes, if you are on Twitter and you want vibes and you want to grow, person that just came up here, Saged Up, Sage Alvarez, actual basketball coach as well. Shoot him a follow because that's all he's here for: engagement and sharing basically his love of sports. Sage, thank you for coming up on stage. I'm going to get to JF next because we're going to get into the games tonight. Is there anything you want to add in that you saw last night? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, my guy. I appreciate the shout out, and man, I love Devin Booker's energy last night. I mean, when just seeing him and how he reacted to the Clay situation last night, I loved his energy, and I'm really happy he's been producing this season. It's been awesome to see at the level he's producing, like such a high level, and he's playing the best basketball of his life right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we're kind of spoiled when it comes to Devin Booker because he came out of Kentucky. He was supposed to be the next big thing. He's never not produced. He just hasn't produced or hasn't looked like what everybody I think is expected. Keeping with the Devin Booker and Phoenix Suns, also a lot of people said that they're pretty much done, that they're going to have a collapse. I said maybe they'll lose 9 more games, maybe 10 more. What do you think? Like sometimes there are teams that just run the course, right? Phoenix, I think, is there, but they're on that very edge. What do you think Monty Williams needs to do as a coach to keep them humming and potentially being able to compete this year for a championship?
It's all about developing Ayton into the player that they drafted him to be. And when they took that discount money from him by not giving him all that money, let Indiana offer him and then matching it, they pretty much sent a sign that says that he is the max player that they thought they drafted. And he is a very great player, but he's not that elite player. And if they want to go to the next level, they need to figure out how to get him to that level. If they want, and the way the roster design, unless they made a drastic change, like maybe a trade at the trade deadline with involving Ayton, their only other choice is to develop him, and the other choice is develop him to trade him. So it's basically you got to get him going.
Yeah, no, I agree with it. Anything you want to add in that you've seen in the beginning of the season or what's catching your eye tonight?
Man, my Lakers have just been disappointing me. So it just watching them, I'll be intrigued to see how the Russell Westbrook saga ends up. I just think it's a lot for a new team to play such great teams early on, and they look like how I thought they would look like, but it's just disappointing because it's Russell Westbrook. So the fact they haven't got that win, it's like you had that media pressure now just caving in on the Lakers, and are they going to really cave in, or are they going to be able to stay in that middle level where they don't get too high, too low, and they can still play their game and still figure it out? It's a new coaching staff this year, so it's all new system, and they got new guys in this year. It's not the same roster as last year. They have less shooting now, which is really surprising to me that a team with LeBron has such a lack of quality of shooters around him. So I'm really hoping that they have a plan underneath, that no one knows about, because I'm looking at this like, what are they doing? Like with this roster construction, it's a mess.
I tell you what they're doing. They're making fans like you soon understand, the Clippers are a legit threat to Laker dominance. I don't think people understand when I bring this up, because a lot of Lakers fans, it's all Lakers, it's Lakers. There's a larger Clipper, fan base that's developing in Los Angeles, and if the Lakers continue to do this, I could see some inroads being made. Let me get these other hands up. We got about 40 minutes of the show. I want to make sure Micah pops up in here, and then we're going to talk to JFK about the Heat's chances against the league's leading 4-0 Portland Trailblazers. We got Sean with the W up here, and we're going to throw it back and forth because the man made a comment about gas station food that we just can't allow to go. Like, we just can't. We got to address it. Micah, what are your thoughts closing out last night, moving into tonight? What are you looking forward to?
Not really looking. I don't know what I'm planning on watching tonight. I haven't really looked into it. I might be doing a couple spaces instead. But hey, just real quick, you said Kuzma's only 13 million?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, sign me up, please.
Yeah, he signed a 3-year, $39 million extension with the Los Angeles Lakers because the Lakers needed him and to trade in the Anthony Davis deal. There you go. All right. Go ahead, finish up, man.
Oh, no, I was just saying, man, that would be a steal. That's the equivalent of Theo Pinson and Dwight Powell. So, yeah, that gives you an idea. There you go.
All right, appreciate you. Up here on stage, ladies and gentlemen, we have John. We'll get to him. Clippers fan. Dom is up here. Anthony's here. Sean is here. New York. We got Sage up with the Lakers. Bonkai with New York. We've got JF though up next, ladies and gentlemen. Miami Heat fan, and like me, somebody who is not appreciative of the 1-3 record his squad has, because his squad, like all offseason, they were saying, we got this, culture. We have it. We're going to develop these internal players. Kyle Lowry's now flipped that up on his head. JFK, how worried should you be as a Heat fan?
Chris, I can't be too worried because it's still early in the season. Even with tonight's game, win or lose, I got to remain the same way, just because, if we lose, then it's going to be like, all right, we lost. But if we win, I don't want to hear like, oh, Miami Heat's this and that, this and that. No, we still got a lot of things to work on. The keys to tonight's game, I'll definitely have to say, is we got to at least shoot over 45% from the three, or at least 50% from the three. We already know that Anthony Simmons and Damian Lillard are going to come in hot and smoking with that backcourt. So trying to see how Kyle Lowry does. He had a bad game yesterday, so hopefully he has a good game today. With guys at that age, they got to take some time off. And, with Miami Heat, you can't really take time off, so you're going to have a bad game. So I'm hoping for him to come back with a better game. Tonight is going to be interesting to see. It's going to be one of our first of many West Coast games going right now. We always have like a little West Coast trip. Watching last night's game against Phoenix and Golden State kind of gave me a little bit more positivity if we can clamp down on defense. This is probably the matchup I want to see more than any other teams in the West Coast, just because if Jimmy Butler hit that three, this would have been the finals. So I want to see how that would have been. I know it's just a one-game sample, but I would definitely want to see how that goes. But yeah, I think win or lose tonight, Chris, we still got a lot of questions to answer. We got to be able to keep composure and not sacrifice ourselves with suspensions. I know it was early, so I wasn't that heavy on it. But still, you can tell that us missing even one guy that starts and one guy that has not started yet, it still hurts us in the depth chart. So I just want to speak about last night's couple things. Shouts out to Trey Murphy, man, 22 points. I watched that whole game. Like, I don't know what's happening, but he's coming out of nowhere and he's really showing off. And I really like what I'm seeing from him. He might be the surprise anchor for that Pelicans team, but that's just my prediction. Also Devin Booker, man, like, again, what a performance by him. I never really counted out Phoenix, just because they still got the same pieces. And Chris, I just got one question for you. What do Chris Paul, Brian Scalabrine, and Patrick Beverly, and I'll add in Russell Westbrook, have in common?
They would all drop 50 on me in a game of one-on-one.
Not the answer I was looking for, Chris. I was going to go ahead and say they're all better than Ben Simmons. He needs to be gone from the NBA. Appreciate it,
You gonna
Chris.
let such a bad news drop safety on
Oh,
you?
I love the Ben Simmons slander in the
That
morning. Oh, it's
that
amazing. It's
that hit
vindicating.
that
It's
hit like a pack of Newports in the face at 2 a.m. Mm.
I had to listen to people for years say it was because Doc said he didn't believe in him in the press conference. When someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Like Sean, I
It's
had a
Steve
question.
Nash fault. It's Steve Nash fault.
I had to question myself. Like, if we were able to trade Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, and a ham and cheese sandwich with Gouda cheese melted for Ben Simmons, is it worth it? Could the Heat fix him?
Well,
Um,
the issue is the ham. You was good until you added ham on that sandwich, and
but that's what
then
I'm saying, Chris. Like, I ain't giving him no turkey, no roast beef. You know what I'm saying? I'll give him a ham. But that's what I'm
wow.
saying. Would the Miami Heat be able to fix him? And
You
and
know,
that's the question I always have, and it's a tough question
If
to
they
ask.
can't, no one can.
I mean, I just think he needs 30 games. I think he's going to get back
That's
to
too much, Chris.
14. I think he's going to get back to 14, 15 points per game, 8 boards, 8 assists, 2 steals.
I don't know about that, Chris. Like I said, when he switched from the 1 to the 4 now, like he's not getting no good mismatches. He's actually going against guys his size, probably more physical than him. I'll definitely say way more physical than him. Probably even Laurie Marketing him is more physical than him. So it's just over with Ben Simmons. I feel sorry for Net fans that they got to believe in this. They should definitely listen to the 76ers fans. And shouts out to Doc Rivers, Eric Spoelstra, and Pat Riley because we all on that list, Chris.
All right. I'm laughing and you heard it, and that's because CT Pittman's down there, Sean, really capping hard for corn cement over here trying to say that grits is a delicacy. Like, it's not. It's just ground cornmeal reconstituted miserably.
I've been fighting this argument with I have a lot of friends who live in New York from the South, and they've been. It's not that. Listen, okay, well, clearly I'm being hyperbolic when I say it's cement. My problem is that the people from the South, the same people who have the audacity to say they chopped cheese is or a breakfast sandwich with ketchup is terrible, are the same ones that claim that grits is the Lord's meal and they have to load it up with cheese, butter, shrimp, sugar, salt, pepper, whatever. It's like, how is it the Lord's meal? And
It's
it's
like
like,
French fries, Sean.
see,
Can
the
we be
problem with
respectful to
French
grits,
fries is
though?
that no one thinks French fries is great. French fries is properly what it is. It's fine. It's not bad. It's not great. It's fine.
It's just another.
No one thinks French fries is the Lord's meal like people from the South. It's like, oh, I can't wait to have my grits with shrimp and butter and cheese. I was like,
It's
are we eating grits? Or are we eating a casserole?
Yeah, like my problem is like you already have two things better than grits, right? Like why are you settling for worse? Polenta is better and Jamaican porridge is better. Like why are
Sorry,
you
Bullet,
out
bullet, bullet,
here?
bullet.
Yeah,
Gunshot.
Pirates,
Nah, say that
Pirates.
why
shit again.
why are
Say
you
that
out
shit again.
here
French
trying
fries
to
are amazing.
say what?
French fries are amazing.
It's better than Ben Simmons.
How you coming in with French
I don't,
fries when we talking grits?
I don't know who
Show
said that.
killer.
I don't know if I heard that correctly down below, but I think somebody said French fries are better than Ben Simmons. I agree.
Never change, Malachi. We love you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a full slate of games tonight. That means we have 6 or more. Tonight, starting at 7, we have the Orlando Magic, the curious case of the 7-footers versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. I am going to be watching this game because I remember what it was like watching Manute Bol run up and down the court. And I am here for Bol. I tell you what, I hope that the Orlando Magic go 0-82 so that I can get 22 minutes a game of Bol action. Tonight, 7 p.m. on League Pass. Atlanta goes to Detroit at 7. Starting at 7:30, we're going to hit up Sean real quick and talk some Knicks and Hornets because this could be a trap game. But this is also a game that I think will definitively give you naysayers zero cause to not believe that the New York Knicks got better. They play Charlotte tonight at 7:30. Also at 7:30, Doc Rivers will prove emphatically once again he is a better coach than Nick Nurse as the Toronto Raptors host the 76ers 7:30 on League Pass. Brooklyn will be at Milwaukee, ESPN 7:30. And then you've got a couple of games that are going to be questionable. And I say this because, let's be honest, San Antonio's up there at 3-1, but Domo's not in the room, and we can all say this. We don't believe in San Antonio, and they play Minnesota at 8 p.m., and we think that Minnesota's going to expose them. Chicago will look to dispatch Indiana at 8 p.m. At 9 p.m., Houston and Utah, which actually might be a very good watch, is on. And then you close out at 10 p.m. With the Denver Nuggets hosting the Los Angeles Lakers on ESPN. But really, the game that I think more people are going to want to watch is see if Portland is for real and if Miami is finally off this high horse of culture. The 4-0 Portland Trailblazers host the 1-3 Miami Heat, 10 o'clock on League Pass. That's your slate tonight. Real quick, want to give some shout outs down below. Biv's Corner, one half of the Mavs Outsider Pod. Shoot him a follow. There was a huge kerfluffle over the weekend on fan-made content. Like, trust me when I say this. There's fan-made content that comes out day in, day out that is 100 times better than non-fan content with people who are connected. Let's be honest, because as fans, we tap in more to our passion, and we can still maintain some objectivity, as long as we ain't, drinking the sauce. And they do that on the Mavs Outsider Pod. Like, they just straight up talk ball and have a great time. Cop to listen. It's where all your podcasts are. Just Google it, Mavs Outsiders, and subscribe. All right, there you go. There's one shout out. Again, tomorrow, 12 p.m., KCDA, Knicks chat a day after. I'm sure if you want some Nets talk, especially if they lose tonight, Saint is going to be up in there questioning everything except for the one thing that matters, right? The one thing that matters about the Brooklyn Nets. Why? Just why is Steve Nash still coaching? Like, that's it. That's all they're going to talk about. Literally, from the moment that they win or lose, I guarantee you'll be entertained and talk about Steve Nash and why he's still the coach. I'm going to keep saying this until he's no longer the coach. And what I would like for Brooklyn to do is give Sam Cassell his shot, because I think Sam Cassell would actually be a great coach for Brooklyn going into the playoffs. That's just me. All right, Sean, we're going to go to you. We got some food talk lined up for the last half hour. This is also open gym, so if you want to come up, ask any question about the NBA, your team, go ahead, come on up. And I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody now, Friday, we will release the Hoop Spaces Fantasy League. I do this late on purpose because I want a week to go through. I want to miss all the injuries, and I want people who are going to be active. Right? Nothing is worse than being a GM of a fantasy league and everybody wants to be active and you start out active. And then after the first week, you lose 4 owners. I'm not about that life. I want to make sure we do this right the first time. So if you are interested in fantasy basketball, I don't know exactly how many slots will be open, but we will make the announcement on Friday. All right, there you go. Sean, we're going to go to you. Anything you want to talk about today in terms of the New York Knicks hosting the Charlotte Hornets? And once again, we have to explain to these wonderful people, because they're really nice people. I've never really met somebody from the South who didn't say please and thank you and offer me sweet tea. But we really got to figure out a way to help them help themselves break this addiction from subpar food called grits.
I mean, listen, I am Jamaican. My wife is African American. We have discussions about, like, she says, that's slave, like certain things I eat, like cornmeal porridge, that's slave food. I'm like, do you see the stuff that you eat? Like, come on. But that's neither here nor there. Like, people, it's just custom. Like, you grew up eating it, and you're like, okay, I just ate it because it was given to me, and whatever. In terms of the Knicks, I'll say really quickly, shout out to everyone who pulled up to the locker room and the Laughing and Mecca matchup yesterday. We broke down RJ Barrett's game, specifically like how he can be a better player. Of course, there were a lot of people bitching and whining and moaning, complaining about, why are we spending time on RJ Barrett? Why aren't we talking about Steph Curry? Like, do you need a film session on Steph Curry? Like Steph Curry's basically like it's all out there. We really separate the casuals from the real ball heads. Shout out to everyone who pulled up for there. In regards to tonight's game, the Knicks don't take any. The Knicks last year, I've said this plenty of times. The Knicks last year, don't. Last year they took Orlando not seriously. Last year they took Orlando not seriously, and Orlando came in and swept them at home. I think this team realizes that they are going to have to beat the good team. Like they cannot take anyone seriously, and that's why I pushed back so heavy on when Anthony was like, "Oh, and cracked them by 20." Like, no. This team isn't good enough to just think they can just play anyone by out talenting them. They have to execute. They have to stay within their. We have to stay within their role, stay within who they are, do what they do well, and if they do that, they will beat the teams they're supposed to, and they'll be competitive against the teams that are better than them. Sometimes they'll win, sometimes they'll lose. If you look at the Knicks next, I had this in front of me. I'm going to pull this up right now. But the Knicks, after this, the Knicks schedule gets crazy. So that's why it's so important for us to be 3-1. Because after that, as ESPN.com takes forever, that's why I get for supporting ESPN.com.
I can get you. You got Milwaukee.
It's right here. I
All
got
right.
it right here. So after this, it's at Milwaukee, at Cleveland, Atlanta, at Philly, Boston, at Minnesota, at Brooklyn, home for Detroit, and then Detroit, Oklahoma City, Utah. That gets a little bit lighter. And then after that, it's that's at Utah, at Denver, at Golden State, at Phoenix. So we got to bank all the wins that we can. So this team cannot feel themselves and think, oh, they can go and just beat Charlotte because it's Charlotte. Because I bet you that's what the Atlanta Hawks were thinking, and boom. So hopefully we go in there, we get a nice solid win. We don't give away the game. We win by like 7. We cover the spread. I think it's like 7.5. And then, listen, we've actually played Milwaukee tough every year for the last couple of years. It's kind of weird. I don't really understand it, but it's whatever. It is spread 7.5. So hopefully we get the win tonight, and then we start this murderous row of teams. And, if we can get out of that 500, but that's why this game is so important, because we need to start 3-1 and get and bank as many wins as possible.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, that opening game at Memphis, losing in overtime, like I look back at it, and that's just going to hurt because I thought you really had that game. And we could be looking at the Knicks going in to that murderer's row, as you say, 4-0 if they win tonight. And I tell you, I really do, when I'm looking at it, see a cohesive offensive unit and a cohesive defensive unit. And I actually think the Knicks are probably likely to come out 500. I'm not sold on my team, Philadelphia. I'm also not sold on Atlanta. I think if New York can neutralize either DeAndre Hunter or John Collins, that makes Trae Young and DeJounte Murray have to beat them. And I just don't see, even though they're going to be a phenomenal backcourt, I don't see them putting up 80 points between the two if you shut down John Collins. The Knicks are good. And I think that's actually the funny thing is that no one's going to like saying that. And that's why I keep saying the Knicks are good. Now, watch, because I said that, they're going to fall off the earth, much like the Golden State Warriors and Klay Thompson did last night. Danny D's up here. She's tired of the Klay Thompson and Golden State Warriors slander and the slander against French fries, grits, and ketchup. And then she just went back to work because she knew in her heart of hearts that we are right about French fries, grits, and ketchup. And we're right about Klay. It's time to start, John Poole, JP. Let's go.
You know something, Chris? A couple last season, Bill Simmons and Big Waz had a podcast where they're like worst contracts in the NBA, and Big Waz said Klay Thompson, and I was like, Klay Thompson, and he was like, yo, this dude missed 2 years and he makes $44 million a year, and he's not getting any younger. And I was thought about it, I was like, yo, that's a good point. The Philadelphia, the Golden State Warriors aren't getting any younger. Father Time is undefeated, and Klay had 2 devastating injuries. And for someone that his key is him being a two-way player, it's hard to bounce back from that and be the same guy. It doesn't happen. So But the problem is, if you start Jordan Poole, like then you have the same problem the Knicks would have had if they had Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson, is that backcourt's barbecue chicken.
I see. I actually disagree.
Not that Steph is bad, but if Steph is the better defender in your backcourt, that's an issue.
The defense is, but I disagree with the idea of what you lose because I think you gain more, right? If you put Jordan Poole in the starter, and we don't even talk about what I think that does for the offense, that makes it a lot easier for Steve Kerr to run the type of backup backcourt he wants. That puts Dante DiVincenzo and Moses Moody in the two positions that they actually need to play. And then that puts Klay Thompson as basically your sixth man or first wing off the bench, who's now interchangeable within the starting lineup and provides the shooting that players like Moses Moody and Dante DiVincenzo, who are both drivers, need to keep that offense humming off the bench. And I think to me, it makes sense because then you add JaMychal Green, who can space the floor as a trailing power forward. And then that makes James Wiseman the wild card. And because now you have a starting unit who's perimeter centric and you have a backup unit that's perimeter centric, James Wiseman comes in and ends up going 8 for 9 off the bench, getting 8 boards, and it's a piece of cake. That's how I see it in my mind. But again, it's only 4 games. And to answer all of that, we have Danny D back with us. Danny, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Good morning, Hoop Spaces family and friends. Uh, you know what I'm going to okay. Let me focus what I'm going to say. One, tonight is the Black Panther Wakanda premiere, y'all. Uh, some people might do some social media stuff tonight. So if you don't want to know nothing, your best bet right now is start muting anything that says Wakanda Forever or Black Panther. Just a heads up, because they moved it
Good
up
looks. Thank
a
you.
week. It was supposed to be next week. They moved it up a week to premiere. So your favorite critics, they might do a social media post, which that means they're not supposed to give you any details. They'll whether or not they'll give you some type of little small surmise, whatever. Two, Jordan Poole needs
Does
to
that
say,
mean they moved out the release date?
oh no, it's still on the 11th. I'm going on the
Okay.
10th, but they haven't moved up the release date. They're not going to do that because people have already bought their tickets. They ain't going to be moving that around like that. No, they just did the premiere early. And normally when Disney does the premiere earlier, that means they really believe in that movie. They must have seen something and they believe in it. They don't push stuff up like that very often. They've only done it, I think, twice. And I think Endgame, and I think it might have been the first Black Panther, but don't quote me on it. Um, don't listen to Chris and all y'all others. Poole still need to come off the bench. There's a method to it because he's had experience starting. Sometimes you want him to play with people off the bench because he stabilized. He showed it last night. When the bench players can't get nothing going, he can get something going. And also too, I feel like to give him some reps with Wiseman as far as how to get the ball to him properly, where to get it, and stuff like that nature. Uh, like I said, we're only 4 games in. I'm like, it is what it is. It's a marathon, not a race. I mean, if the sun go up,
A marathon is a race.
it might be a race, but when I'm
You
talking about
mean
race,
it's a marathon, not a sprint?
I know,
well,
but I just wanted to
marathon,
say.
a
Come
sprint.
on, man.
Look,
Come
look. Don't be trying me now, okay? I'm about to drink this Mountain Dew, wake my
Oh,
blood up.
see,
Oh,
now we
wait a
know.
minute. No, we
Now
can't
we
have
know.
that. No,
See,
no.
Yeah, I'm
you
about to drink.
drinking Mountain
Oh,
Dew
I'm
at
going.
12 o'clock?
Mountain Dew?
Hell,
it's
Yeah.
like I'm telling you now, Mountain Dew is literally like the liquefaction of Pop Tarts. It's nothing you
all
need to
right,
put in
let's
your
chill.
body.
I
Let's
got
chill,
Hey,
some
Chris.
at
Let's
home
chill.
too. Some Pop Tarts at home too. Some
hey,
strawberry Pop
Uh,
Tarts.
Oh my
leave the
God,
Pepsi, leave the Pepsi
And
drink
you know what I'm
alone.
about to do? I'm about to eat this Taco Bell too. Ah.
Taco Bell.
wow, just
Damn.
just you're hurting our
Yo,
feelings.
Chris, can I just
Your
say something
insides
real
must
quick?
have you in a headlock, Danny.
No, my insides are gonna be okay. It's
Chris,
only
can I
ice cream.
In a
Sometimes
second,
that gets me
Buckeye.
in
yeah, yeah,
trouble.
no problem.
It's ice cream give to her. But anyway, back to my point. The Suns can have fun. Book can sit there. And Book must have said something really disrespectful because Clay has never been ejected from their game in his whole career till last night. Yeah, Clay struggling, but you know what? That's because Clay presses instead of just letting the game come to him. When he relax, let the game come to him because he feel like he got something to prove. Because y'all cats out there denying my beautiful light skinned brother. You know, so yes, I said beautiful light skin. I like the light skinned men too. You know. Anyway, he got that nice hair tooth and grass. That's a whole
Now
nother
this
story.
explains everything.
Yeah, right. It's coming
Yeah.
out now. Now we
Who?
know, and knowing is half the
Hey,
battle.
I
GI
like.
Joe.
Hey, you. Hey,
Mountain
I ain't
Dew,
gonna go.
Taco Bell, and light skinned men. Like now it all makes sense. It
I
Yeah,
all
mean,
comes
I love
together.
it.
Light skin
I
not in
love it.
style
You
no more,
know.
woman. Light
wait,
skin not in
whoa.
style.
What do you
I
mean? What
love
are
Oh,
you
my bad. My
talking
bad.
about,
Oh, my
Anthony?
bad. My bad.
I
Kick
don't
you
know.
out of here.
I totally missed that. But look, I just want to say that hey, we good. I mean, we got 4 rings. I mean, Chris
Well,
Paul and them ain't got nothing.
that
And they
actually
need
is
to figure out
the
what they're gonna do
question.
with Crowder.
That is the question. What did Devin Booker say to Klay Thompson?
That's what I really want to know. He must have some bitch assness stuff to him, cause he don't get mad like that. That takes a
Oh,
lot to get
I
him on that level.
I
He
think
he
I
normally
think
talks smack.
well, I think he probably said a word that started with W and ended with the word B. Like I don't think there's anything more offensive on a professional basketball court
Hmm.
to have a professional player tell another professional player that they are W, whole bunch of spaces with a D on the end. Let me get Bonkai
Yep.
and EK in here. Go ahead. What do you got?
First off, rest in peace to Danny D's stomach because that is a nasty combination. Um, and I'm
Oh,
gonna say that Devin Booker probably said something that had to do with Ronnie 2K that got Clay Thompson so heated because Clay hates that guy. So maybe it was that.
that's a good one, Bonkai. I didn't even think about the Ronnie 2K story. That's right. That's good. EK, JF, hop in here, and then we're going to move to Tony Schwartz, NBA, ladies and gentlemen, and he's also going to come up here and tell us why this is not hyperbole. Tonight really is do or die for the Miami Heat as they go
No,
up
it's
against Portland
not.
Trailblazers.
Stop that.
I mean, I'm just trying to set it up, man. Like, I mean, we all got jobs to do. EK, go ahead.
Yeah. Speaking of, I guess the Devin Booker and Clay situation, Devin probably was like, "Listen, bro, you got 4 rings, but you got more rings than you got points right now, and those rings ain't gonna help you out from getting these buckets. So you can talk about the rings all you want, but I'm gonna keep on giving you buckets while we blow you off our floor." So maybe he said something to that effect. I'm not too sure. And also all the grits talk and everything like that. I grew up on a Midwestern diet, so I grew up with grits all my life, and the slander that grits is getting is, I think, very unwarranted. And you guys really need to reevaluate your food takes and your taste overall. Because if you don't think grits are good, I don't really know what to tell you. I would love to see what your daily diet is.
It's not that I think grits are bad. Okay, Chris thinks grits are bad. I join in the hyperbole because it's fun. It's that people from the South treat grits as the Lord's meal, and it's fine. It's not great. It's not amazing. People be like, "Oh, I can't wait to have my grits." It's like, okay, then you eat grits by itself. And you know what the worst thing is? You know what the worst thing is? You tell someone you've tried grits before and you didn't like it, and you know what the answer always is? Oh,
You
they didn't
must
cook it
not have
right.
cooked it right.
That
You tripping?
that's
Yeah,
the
you
answer
tripping? You
every time.
tripping?
That shit might be
Every
watery
time.
then.
And it's
Jesus.
the truth.
They
If somebody told
grady.
you that, it is the truth.
It must be watery.
Grits are amazing, and I won't accept anything else.
They're
So all
amazingly
y'all,
average.
Nah, grits with turkey bacon though? Yeah, it's fire.
Oh
Okay,
God,
okay, bro, okay.
Anthony,
Fire.
Ritzy's not helping.
Anthony, how do you do this, man? You come up here and then like you throw out this grits and turkey bacon as like you gonna be eating
Turkey bacon's
healthy.
fire. What are we doing?
Anthony, you up here buying like turkey bacon flavored Pop Tarts, man.
Nah,
Stop it.
chill.
hey,
Nah.
turkey bacon had the black community in the chokehold for like 10 years of my childhood. So don't
Exactly.
sleep
See,
on turkey bacon now.
He know what
I
I'm
ain't sleeping on turkey bacon. I'm throwing it away because it doesn't need to be made.
Well, if you don't eat pork and you want bacon, it's an alternative. Like
Yeah,
it's
beef
not the
bacon.
but it's not. But then he deals red meat, and so it's tough.
And we
Honestly,
can
we
make
shouldn't
both.
just eat bacon. That's what it really comes down to. Because I mean, eating turkey bacon is full of sodium and shit, right? But
Hold on. You eat bacon, Chris?
Why wouldn't I eat bacon?
wait,
Okay, now I guess you
This is
want your
hilarious.
cholesterol to go up. You talk about my Mountain Dew, but you want your cholesterol to go up?
So
Okay,
like
buddy.
Mountain Dew is terrible.
eating two slices of bacon like once a week for breakfast ain't doing nothing to my cholesterol. Drinking Mountain Dew every day does things to everything.
It's just like the Miami Heats and their BBLs and their false
Hey,
dreads that they put on
wow.
their head.
I didn't
Okay,
catch the string.
Chris,
hey, yo,
Chris.
hey,
I
yo,
came here
come
to
on,
get over my frustrations,
come
but
on.
y'all bringing up
Yo,
Danny D
y'all.
Leave
starting trouble,
BBL women
man.
alone.
all right,
Leave the BBL
look,
alone.
the gauntlet's been laid out. We got JFK and Tony, and Danny D's here for it. Apparently, Kyle Lowry is struggling. There's no denying that. I've already asked, is it time for Gabe Vincent to start? I think it is. I think he's a better defender. That's just me. JF, Tony, you two know better than I. JF, you already spoke first. I'm gonna go Tony first. You come up after Tony. Tony, you clean it up, and then we'll bring James in, who's been patient enough as he came back up after wanting to come up early. Appreciate everybody. Good morning.
Yeah, Adam Silver is just a complete terrorist. Gave us Chicago, Boston, and Toronto twice, and then rewarded us with that homestand to play Portland, Golden State, and then Sacramento on a 3-day West Coast trip to come back home and then play Golden State again. There were some fans initially or some people initially trying to tell y'all to temper expectations because the beginning of this schedule was going to be really rough and this team was going to be small in the first place. And now with injuries at Yurtsevin and Oladipo, it's even smaller. You can't start Gabe Vincent, Chris. The Gabe lineups, the height, the size, the Gabe lineups right now, all are negative. All the Kyle lineups are negative. There's just something about, by the way, this is a ridiculous stat that I just pulled up. Y'all are going to love this one. Gabe, let's see, Kyle, Gabe, Tyler, Jimmy, and Dwayne Dedman are minus 183 per 100 possessions. That lineup, if they were to play 100 possessions, would give up 183 points.
Yikes.
There's two giant concerns, and one of them involve a giant human in Dwayne Dedman. Defensively, when he's on the floor, if he does not have a size mismatch by 2 or 3 inches, he's a complete net negative. Dwayne Dedman has incredibly strong hands, and he is a force in the paint. But he has hit an age now where I don't think that he could jump over a piece of paper or a crack in a sidewalk. And when a player, any center, is presented to him with any amount of length and athleticism that can high point the ball, he does nothing, which removes, his main asset to the squad, which was the rebounding ability, and was desperately needed, by the way, because they are getting out rebounded by like a factor of 2 at this point. And there's just nothing that the Heat can do to solidify that problem. There's no combination of players. There's no Gabe Vincent swap. It's a matter of fact, I think it's so detrimental what you're talking about. The idea of introducing another starter into the lineup, switching the lineup again when the problem with defensive rotations is communication and floor mapping. I would never in my life try to shift up those 5 guys right now. They need to play together. That the only way that this defense gets any better is continuity and communication. It's the only thing that we can do to improve. The rotations, the snappiness of pre-switches. Dear God, I saw them pre-switch twice in that first Toronto Raptors game, and I almost found a religion. I was so excited. I almost found a religion. I never thought I would see them do that this early. There's not a huge concern for me at this point. We just have to weather a storm. Omer should be coming back after the home stint. I don't know if they bring him back for Golden State because that feels like a scheduled loss after coming off a 3-day
West Coast stretch of like kind of tough opponents because the Kings don't look like a slouch right now. But you know that you measure games in quarters, and it looks like for this first quarter, the Miami Heat schedule is going to be a lot about figuring out what they're doing defensively and creating continuity with guys that have not shared roles together. But it hasn't been all bad because, you know, I don't want to say this on a 1-3 spurt, but Tyler really does look like an all-star. I mean, the leap is there. It's live in the flesh. Jimmy Butler is playing a new role, which I absolutely love. He just gets to be this high IQ, fill space, kind of like stretch teams to the corner with his newfound shot. He can be a baseline cutter. His baseline like weak side cuts they're elite right now. He's punishing teams no matter how long or how athletic or big they are. He's been crushing from that role. Like the ball is not in Jimmy Butler's hands; it's in Tyler Hero's hands more often than not. And he's allowing Kyle and Jimmy to just kind of play this offensive IQ engine. The problem is, it seems like Kyle's kind of pushing back on that idea. But no, Gabe Vincent is not this team's point guard. Tyler Hero is this team's point guard. That's how this is going to move forward.
Yeah, I agree, and much to the chagrin of a whole bunch of people who just don't like Tyler Hero because he smirked. And by the way, if people don't know, we're talking to Tyler Hero's twin brother, Tony Schwartz. No relation, no relation.
That's funny.
I agree. The reason why I say I want Gabe in there is because I think it's time. Like, I just think it's time. Like, I've got nothing for you. I've watched all 4 games, and I'm looking at Lowry, and that communication is fine. But if you can't physically get there when you're communicating, what difference does it make?
But he's not the guy to make that extra pass, like to make the extra passes. Playmaking this year has been piss poor. I don't need a guy who's not willing to take a shot, who's not willing to hit the across the body skip pass to the corner. I don't need a guy who's not going to throw the lob to Bam. There's only 2 players in the team that do that. That's Kyle and Tyler. Like, there's no way. I understand what you're saying defensively. Gabe is probably a better defender. I don't even think it's probably. At this point, he is a better defender. But that's not the guy that we need out there with the other 3 main starters. You know, Gabe has to figure out a role in this team, absolutely. But he's going to have to figure it out with that bench unit.
Yeah, I agree. Jeff, hop in here and give us your take, and we're going to move down to James.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. Tony is definitely Tyler Hero's twin brother. But moving on from that, Chris, I'll definitely have to say I agree with Tony on a majority of the things. But I agree with you, Chris, on Gabe Vincent being the starter. I understand that, Tyler and Kyle are the ones to, facilitate Bam when he needs it the most. But the thing is, I think if you have Gabe Vincent, it's going to help Bam maybe find another different part of the offense to work on and maybe be successful when it comes to that. Again, you're more of a more detailed guy when you're looking at the game than I am, Tony, but I watch the games, and I think what Gabe Vincent has been doing is showing poise at any type of moment. I think he's been able to handle adversity, even coming off the bench. But if you think Tyler Hero is the starting point guard, which I can also agree on that, how much more games do you see Bradley Beal need to have that's not doing good so we can get a good low offer trade value for him?
I don't usually do trade stuff, right? That's not my bag. You guys know that by now.
Hey, Tony.
I've
Who's with the
got some
finishing games
trades.
then?
I've got some trades in my head, boys. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
Tony.
First year where it's peaking in.
You got to wait a little bit longer, JF. I promise you. Once we get 20 plus games, then we'll be bringing back So You Think You're a GM, so you guys can go at it. Because look, we every team right now, if you're not 4-0, like the Portland Trailblazers, needs to be saying what else can we do to get that win on the margin that it's going to come down to. King, go ahead, Jeff.
I just want to say this last thing. With tonight's game, like I said, Chris, even if we win or lose, I can't get too excited about it because there's a lot of holes to fix. I do have a problem with Dwayne Dedmon keep on stepping out and shooting on really bad shot selections, like in really bad timing in the game. Him and Kyle Lowry are doing it, and it's really hurting us. I feel like if we do keep the ball in possession and the guys who are scoring, who can get those fouls and actually make the free throws. And our free throws have been atrocious this season as well. We've missed way too many like close free throws in the end of the game. Like I remember the Bulls game, I think we missed 6 in the last like 5 minutes. So it wasn't good at all. I do see this team still having that defensive presence. So when we make this West Coast trip, I think that if our defense can hold these teams to under maybe 100, 105 points, we're maybe looking good to, I'll say, go 2-1 on this West Coast trip.
And really quick, you could have stopped with I have a problem with Dwayne Dedman. You would have been good right there. The free throw thing is an eye test, but it's not a truth. And I thought the same thing. The only thing that this team really excels at right now is free throw. They are 4th in free throw makes, only 13th in attempted, which tells me if they find a way to get to the line more, they're going to continue to dominate that margin. But they're 2nd in free throw percentage in the league. So the team, you're right on the front of like the team has to find a way to continue to get to the rim and continue to draw fouls because it's the only thing that they're excelling at right now. There was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot. But there you go. Oh, going into Portland. Yeah, I don't know. We're still waiting. It's going to be 20 games. I'm measuring the seasons in 20 games. I don't think I have anything to say about Portland tonight. This feels like a scheduled loss.
Yeah. You know what? I think you just don't want to bring in the ear of Dia once she hears you talk bad about the Blazers. They're hot. They're 4-0, and right now a lot of people are eating their words, including me. I thought they were done. Like not in terms of not winning, but like I did not see them being able to gel this quickly together. I thought that they were going to need more time than, let's say, the Miami Heat, who are 1-3. We'll go to James next. Thrash in the competition is going to come up. He's a Trailblazers fan. This is going to be funny because, like, literally, I have no idea what he's going to say. James, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for your patience, man. Thanks for coming back up.
Yeah, man. Good morning to everybody, man. Danny D, good to hear your voice. Man, I just want to rehash a little something. You talk about the Mavs and Brunson. Brunson probably, he wanted a deal for his dad, and all depends on how much leeway that his dad wanted to have with the team was the problem. And then we go down to Clay. Well, they're not going to bench Clay because of his mental aspect of his game. And so Steve Kerr want to keep him in tune. Maybe midway through the season, just before playoff, they'll probably bring him off the bench. But I don't think they can bring him off the bench because of that. I mean, just because they want to keep him mentally in tune with the game. And then as far as Russ goes, Russ need to lose at least 5 pounds. Because he bulked up when he was in OKC, he was doing good. And then as soon as he started bulking up, his shots couldn't drop. So if you look back at Stephen Curry, when Stephen Curry was bulking up last season, his shots he had a shooting slump because he tried to put on a lot of muscle, and you cannot. I mean, if your body not built for it, and you're putting on all that muscle, it's not gonna work. Then we go to KD and the Nets. The only thing is, KD say they didn't need a coach, so why point the finger? You got to point the finger back at yourself. When they're looking for a coach, and he say we go on Nash because we don't need a coach. All Nash need to do is sub in and sub out players. Why are you complaining? So don't complain. Now the next thing is with the grit situation. I was in the Boy Scouts, first Grandmama Boy Scouts. My platoon leader cooked some grits. The grits stand up the flagpole, and ever since then, I was real leery about the grits. That's my take.
Preach. I think Chris has a phone call.
I'm back. I was actually laughing, and then he caused me to spill my bottled water. I too was in the Boy Scouts. I too had those grits, and I too will not have grits because of that. Like, it's just disgusting. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand. Like, you are literally eating grits. Like, it's just not. It's not it. It's
It's
not
like how
happening.
people eat stuffing for Thanksgiving, man. You hate
You
to see
gotta
it.
you gotta throw some shrimp on them, man. That's all.
See, there you go.
My brother,
Just like you
preach.
gotta throw fries, with salt and sauce. Like, come on, man. Come on,
Fries
Thrash.
are amazing. Stop this. Come
They
on.
are
What are we talking
not
about? Are we
Fries
amazing.
aren't
serious?
amazing. They're not
Are we
amazing.
serious?
We
They're
are like,
fine. They're fine. They're not
Wow.
when's
amazing.
when's the
This is
last
horrible.
time you just sliced up a potato at home and made fries?
2 days ago. I don't
Probably a
know
week ago,
why y'all
actually.
hate the
Not
staples
you,
of
Tony. I'm
American
It's
talking
cooking.
to
been
AK.
years, but I love me some fries. I'll eat them for
That's not
dinner.
helping your
I'll
argument,
put them
Chris.
in the air
No,
fryer,
it
baby.
is. It
So
It's
is
probably a week
because
ago.
what I'm gonna build to it, Thrash. It is because the fact that you don't, except for Tony, apparently, you are going out there sourcing out these fries. Like these fries you sourcing out are nothing but trans fat, salt, and sauce. Like it's not good.
And it's a beautiful thing.
But see,
You
when
ever
you
had
cut them
Beautiful
up,
thing.
some truffle fries?
Ooh,
when you,
boy, you
when you cut
preaching.
them up and then you
Oh,
put them
the
in the
It's
Yes.
just
oven,
bars.
disgusting. It's just
mix them up.
absolutely. It's like
I
uncouth
love the fact
behavior.
that we're telling the chef what
Whatever.
good food is. It's hilarious.
Uncouth behavior. Like y'all stay
Look,
with
just because you
your
could cook, don't mean you know the flavor.
yeah, with your
And
25-cent hamburgers and
bologna
hot
relish.
dogs. Killing me. Thrash, your Trailblazers, they're up on top of the league, man. What you thinking? Hey, Sean, you're not on mute.
I'm
Sorry.
thinking I wish it was certain people in this room right now, man. People were telling me Dame needed to learn how to play off the ball. People were telling me that we couldn't do anything without CJ. He's better than Dame. Where are we at right now? Who's ahead of us in the standings? What's going on? Where were all these predictions y'all had when we got the one guy that we asked for in the offseason? We got the best rookie in the league, and we haven't even started yet. That's the thing. See, I'm a keep it like on a scale of 10. I'm at like a 4 right now. I'm gonna keep it there. I'm gonna chill because I really don't even want to get into my nonsense yet. I want to wait until everybody sees me in this room. Everybody that was talking all that nonsense about Dame last year when he didn't play. I want y'all to be loud. I want to hear y'all again. That's all I got to say about the Blazers.
All
I
right.
just I just want to remind everybody that after 6 games, the Washington Wizards were tied for first in the Eastern Conference last season. So
Did Washington have Dame?
Yes or no, Sean?
no.
Yes or no?
Did he have? No, he didn't have Dame. So, so I just want to remind everyone that Washington team finished 35-47.
Did they have Jeremy Grant?
Jerry.
y'all have to understand. My man Sean here has a great saying. Not all progress is linear. It could be that the addition via subtraction has opened up the offense, and what we saw was more of a redundancy between Anthony Simons and CJ. Is a less of a redundancy between those two, and was more of a confirmation of the redundancy of CJ and Dame as we see CJ succeed in New Orleans. What do you guys think about that?
Keep in mind that Dame is choosing to allow that redundancy not to take place. He was giving the ball up at the end of the game to Anthony Simons to make that hook shot. So, that was something that I didn't expect to see from him in the growth of him as a leader on that team. But he's very much willing to let those young guys cook even in the most clutch of situations.
Not running from the grind.
Definitely.
He's definitely running from the grind. Absolutely running from the grind.
See, you know what? That's the benchwarmers topic. That'll be tonight, ladies and gentlemen, at 8 or 9 p.m. We'll get that time up there. Let me hit this music so I can get my last read. Go ahead, Thrash. I know you
It was
want to say
just
something.
disrespectful. I just had to say it's just disrespectful coming from a guy who's been rooting for RJ Barrett and is excited about Jalen Brunson. Like that was just so disrespectful.
Do you know what the Knicks and the Trailblazers have? You know what RJ Barrett and Damian Lillard both have in common? At the end of the season, ain't neither of them winning shit.
You cannot argue with the fatalistic Knicks fan. Like, what are you gonna do? He
Like
just said they ain't gonna win.
I accept my fate. You people are still living in this bubble world where starting 4-1 means something. Like,
They're 4-0.
humble yourselves.
We don't have a loss.
They're 4-0.
4-0. Guess what? The Knicks don't have a loss either. You see me up here preening?
You're 2-1. You lost opening night to Memphis.
I struck that. I struck that from my memory.
Yeah. You could tell. Ladies
but we
and
ain't
gentlemen,
winning nothing. It's like the same thing with the Raptors fans. Just there's like, we're so great. We're gonna be the 4th seed. I was like, oh, so you want to be us 2 years ago? Like, y'all not winning jack.
Because the Sixers are going to finish it. They're going to figure it out with the great coach Doc Rivers tonight. They're going to play Toronto and prove that Doc Rivers is indeed a great coach. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to tell you to head over to. Yeah, I saw that coming. That was dope. That was like some Miami Vice interruption.
Definitely was Miami.
Yeah, it's definitely Miami. Slamgoods.com is the website you need to go to. You'll go there, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's stuff that's not affordable to some people because it's like super collectible. Right? If you're one of those super collectibles, that's awesome. You can also use this promo code to save 15% off of the really, really expensive one. But if you're like just a regular fan like me, you got a day, a life that you live with a kid, you got bills, 15% doesn't seem like a lot. But in the world of self-care, that actually means more. You can save some money. And what I do is I take the money I save and then I go buy my son a taquito. Well, I used to when Speedway and 7-Eleven had these jalapeno and cream cheese taquitos. Now that they're gone, I already told him we will be back when you bring them back. Like, really?
You'll be all right.
Yo, all right. Come on, man. You remember when you was a kid, your favorite thing closed? You didn't like it.
I was all right.
Yeah, all right. Curmudgeon.
I actually will say real quick. I'm gonna post this in the jumbotron. I think it makes sense. Like, the difference between a gas station that sells food and a food spot in a gas station. For example, Wawa. I will mash up a Wawa hoagie. You can go to the gas station to get gas, and then you go into the Wawa next to there's a Wawa building, and you get food. However, if I go into the gas station and there's motor oil, tires, and taquitos, I'm not eating that.
Yo, no lie, the best pulled pork sandwich I have was in the gas station with the service bay with a big vat of oil.
But you know what? You know something? I'm not even saying that you cannot get good food at a gas station that sells food. I'm just got to miss out on that because more often than not, my stomach is gonna end up like Danny D's stomach's gonna be in about 45 minutes.
Shout out Danny D with the Mountain Dew and the Taco Bell. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing you do not buy at a gas station is sushi. Stop it. If I ever catch one of y'all doing that, I'm going to give you the look, and you will hear the voice of Yoda in your brain, and you will know supreme disappointment.
I did that in college, sushi, and it was a bad
I'm eating gas station sushi right now.
I did it in college, and it was horrible.
Condolences to your family, Bankai.
No, I'm just playing.
Let me know when the service is. I'll be there, man. If
you buy sushi, and you live more than 120 miles from the ocean, you are doing it to yourself. Like, don't do that.
You can get a California roll. It's fake. It's fake anyway.
But California's near an ocean.
Well, no. A California roll.
It's all imitation. Okay, yeah, sure, you're right. Yeah, but then you don't want to eat imitation food. You don't want to eat fake food. What I'm saying is, like, if you live in Oklahoma City, don't eat no damn sushi.
Bro, I live in Indiana and I ain't trying to eat sushi.
You know what's one thing you absolutely need to eat? Pupusas.
Oh, no. Pupusas, hand down. Like, I love them. Get a 3-pack.
Hey, Chris, I just want to say the best gas station food are where the 18-wheelers are at, man. They always supply the truck drivers with the best.
Bro, that is not true. All those truck drivers are there to get drugs.
That is also true.
Yo, do you know how many truckers I have in my family? Like, the stories I could tell you. It's insane. Literally, like, it's like Showtime. It's bad.
There's a gas station chain in Louisiana called Brothers, and it is the best fried chicken I've ever had in my life.
I've been there. Shout out to Louisiana. I am not allowed in Bossier City or Alexandria. I get in trouble. They have lots of good food. and other stuff. I won't get into that.
What's her name?
Oh, it wasn't one. There was three. I dated them back to back to back, and I did not realize that they all actually went to high school with each other.
Yep.
You know, sometimes that doesn't matter. You can, we'll talk offline.
As a matter of
Military.
fact, look, no,
Fuck.
Sean, talk about it here because people are telling me Tyler and Kuzma can't play together, and I don't understand.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to finish this read. Slamgoods.com is the website to go to. Promo code HoopSpaces. Save 15% off on your entire purchase site-wide. And if you don't tell them I sent you, like, I don't care. Just go save some money and get something you like. That allowed me to play this. Hey, we got lots of games today. We're going to have a lot to talk about tomorrow. A whole bunch of people had already left. Totally cool. If you're a content creator, if you write, let me know if you want to be included into a feature in the newsletter that I've created here for us in the community. Just reach out, as long as it's good stuff, that there could be a home for your content. And it's all about getting more eyes on your stuff, not throwing anything of mine on yours. It just literally say, Spotlight, create a name, link, boom, let's get it done. We're all about building everything this year from the second floor because we built the foundation on first floor last year. Shout out to Nat Fluential. Everybody give her a round of applause. Signing on with NBC Sports as content streaming producer for Brother from Another. If she can do it, you can do it. Hard work pays off. See you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Peace out. Sean, say something.
Next third quarter, bet that it's covered every game this year if you're in a state that it's legal. Knicks cover the third quarter is usually like -1.5 or -2. Bet that.
All right, we out. See you tomorrow, 10. Peace.